You could have heard this episode 48 hours early on our Patreon, patreon.com/indieheadspodcast. For joining us for as low as $1 a month, you'll receive episodes early and gain access to our Discord server. All of our upcoming episodes will be up on our Patreon feed 48 hours before it hits our public podcast feeds. But if you're hearing this via our Patreon feed, we thank you so much for your support. We especially want to thank our Real Ones patrons, including Becca Etienne, Georgia Mikowski, Alex Grishmanoff, Baby Buko, Josiah Duncan, Jenna LaFleur, Grant in the Back of My Dragula, Pablo Escobar's Hippos, Jackson Christ, Sandy Nemo, Alan Souvenir, Max Kapazinski, Mark Barry, Aaron Hillsamer, Darian Fisher, Garros420, Cal50, Doodoo Ass, Chris Wade, Jacqueline Kataga, Alec Felder, Jake Wald, Eraserhead Baby, Max, Dylan, Waffle113, and Maze Farms. To become a real one, consider supporting us for $5 a month on Patreon, or receive bonus episodes every month and get a shout out at the top of the pod. Anyways, though, enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Indieheads podcast. I am your host, Maddie, at Mervian Prince on Twitter. Joining us on this episode is Max, Lily, Gavin, and most importantly, Jackie, as we are all gathered today to dive into the mindset of a very specific kind of guy. Jackie, why are we all here? Why have you brought us here?
We're here because of one man, folks. We're here because of a man named Flexcalibur. If you, in case you're a listener of the podcast, but you did not turn into the stream, or perhaps you missed the moment later in the stream where we met Mr. Flexcalibur, but I think we just need to start off right now. Maddie, can you pull up the Flexcalibur Maroon 5 video real quick on YouTube? We need to talk about Flexcalibur as a way to getting into this episode because
I need the link. Yeah, pull up the link real quick.
The thing is that we were introduced via the music of Maroon 5 to Flexcalibur's rant about Maroon 5. And my friends who were not fans of EDM music were fascinated at the type of guy that they had uncovered. And through that, I got the idea of what if I made a playlist of like the most aggro EDM dubstep bangers from that I remember from the time period listening to this genre. And what if we just dived into this mindset for a whole episode? And it might have tested some of my fellow podcast members. It might have caused some brainworms, and we're just going to discuss what we think about these songs. But first, we need to hear from the man himself, so that in case you're a listener and you don't have the context, let's just listen to Mr. Flexcalibur talk about...
Hold on. Name the years you were listening to this for.
Okay, so this would probably be... I'm trying to think when I got, like, really EDM pilled, but it's mostly, like, 2012, 13 through, like, 17, probably.
That's mostly what I wanted to know was the end year.
Yes, it was exactly like 1 year into college. At the moment I got to Detroit and like there was techno people around, immediately I was like, okay, let me just recount. I was still like an active RL Grime stan until like my sophomore year of high school, 2018. And we'll talk about that when we get to that part of the podcast.
Of college,
there's a lot of, to tee it up for the listeners, a lot of crucial both Jackie and Lily lore tied into this playlist, and we're going to get into all of it. But yeah, now with no further delay, let's hear from our man Flex.
Yeah.
Hey, I was casually listening to the new Maroon 5 song, Don't Judge Me, and I heard this.
45, maybe I'm barely alive.
What? Maybe you're who? What did I just hear? You got some splaining to do, yo. You're not heavy bass. You're not a heavy bass distributor. Unless your music sounds like this. You will never be barely alive. Oh, man. I'm pissed now. Hell no. That's right. All right, guys. You guys chill out, because we got beef now. Barely alive, you guys chill and keep making dope music. I got this one. But you, Avril Lavigne, or Adam Laverne, or whatever your name is, we got beef, and I want all the smoke. That's right. I'm gonna tag World Star, Baller Alert, The Shade Room, everybody. I want all the smoke. Boy, you thought Drake and Pusha T was big? You thought 50 and Floyd was big? Oh, man, you ain't seen nothing yet.
This video
I got a new album dropping. I want all the
431
clout.
views.
Yes, that's right.
And 100 of those are
Execution's
B.
dropping real soon. So I'm feeling real cloudy. So Adam look, Maroon 5,
The same
we
bit
got
that
beat, and
Uncle
I
Sam
want
and Santa
all the
did
smoke.
for the cameos. I think we need to give a brief physical description of Flex. if
We
you have not
should,
seen
yeah.
this video.
Ooh, how's both?
Noted patron my mom gave us the note recently that we sometimes fail to describe what we are seeing on the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that sounded like a man yelling in a car with weird sunglasses on, that's because it was.
And he's noticeably at Starbucks. You can see the Starbucks logo through his window. This is like my favorite genre of YouTube video, which is guys yelling in their car. Flex obviously gets like points for being like a jokester who knows he's being funny, and he is funny, and I do love him. Maybe I love him a little less now that I've listened to a song by the artist Barely Alive for this playlist, but I respect you, Flex Caliber, and I think you should come on the pod.
Flex Caliber rocks. Flex Caliber, his background story, besides just being a guy that yells into his car on YouTube, is that it seems like there have been multiple songs in which he has played the crucial role of guy yelling something right before the bass drop. He's got a really great voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a lot of energy at all times. And his favorite things to do, besides DJing and yelling the drop for a dubstep song, is doing these YouTube videos in which he reacts to dubstep music, talks about heavy bass music. He plays a game called Guess That Wub, in which he does with his mouth noises trying to emulate the various dubstep drops that he's thinking of. And
Are we going to play Guess That Wub later in the episode, by the way?
We should play
that
Guess
feels
That
like
Wub
an
later in the
appropriate
episode.
finale.
But before we get any further, we just need to get into the
Peace,
playlist.
love, unity, respect.
As a way of
Perfect.
jumping off with all the backgrounds, and because like there are a lot of songs here, and we have short snippets of each one of them that Maddie will be ready to play. But basically, this is not entirely designed as a torture chamber, though it may appear that for Gavin it might have been just straight all the way
It
through
was for
torture.
me too.
Sure wasn't for me. I'll tell you that right now.
I just want to state real quick. I was not planning on being a cast member this episode. I was just planning on just being on as a producer and just letting y'all cook. Having listened to the playlist, I woke up from a nap. I got really tired at work. I was working from home today. I got tired. I took a nap for an hour. I came back to listen to the playlist because like, okay, I should probably listen to this at least once, even if I'm not going to be on the podcast, if I'm only on as a producer, like courtesy listen. One of the worst songs you can listen to after a nap is Bangarang by Skrillex.
That's one of the out of this playlist. That's one of the worst ones.
I mean, it's one of the better songs of the playlist, but it's definitely a very rough song to listen to when you wake up from a nap. So
I am picturing like the
guarantee
Dolly
you-
Parton opening montage from 9 to 5, but just with Bangarang. It doesn't track as an energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this playlist was so bad. Alex was supposed to be on this episode and is not anymore. So,
Alex, I honestly feel worse that Alex listened to the whole playlist and is not going to be on this episode because I could tell for Alex it was a shell-shocking experience as well. I mean, this is something you have to get desensitized to over time, and we're going to talk about my kind of origin story with seeing this kind of music live when we get to the knife party. But we're gonna start this playlist with the person that we have to start this playlist with. There's no other way.
No
other way we could have gone about this. We're talking about friend of Jordan Peterson himself, Miss graduate, not graduate, dropout of Lackawanna High School, the high school right next to the high school that I went to. Sonny Moore, otherwise known as Skrillex, and the first song we're talking about today is Bangarang, because that's how we're kicking this off. It's gotta be.
Mm-hmm. It's gotta be.
Yes. Let's listen to a little bit of it.
I'm
also Skrillex. Right next to my apartment is a closed down. Hang on, I don't remember the name. I gotta step out my window really quick. Sorry, listeners. I gotta figure out the name.
This is
It's literally, I see it from my apartment.
I just lit a candle
a pink
to
berry.
ward off the evil
Pink berry.
spirits
Does that sound
that are
right?
inevitably
There
going
is
to
a
be
pink
brought on
berry
by the
near
next
my
2
apartment in
hours.
LA, where
I
apparently
have
Skrillex
2
got
wits.
arrested at.
Oh.
That's funny.
Do we need a candle for this?
Because
Because this song's pretty good.
It's a good song.
it's
As I said in the chat, as a good version of like a deeply philosophically reprehensible thing, like it works.
yes, there are a lot of those that I would say are on this play. I originally designed this playlist to be half songs from this era I still kind of like or really like now, and then half songs that I either used to like and don't anymore or have always hated. But like, I have complicated feelings about nearly. There are a couple that I just straight up fucking hate. Obviously, like we're gonna get to those, including 2 that there's 2 that I will admit I actually had not heard until recently when I was doing research for this playlist, because there were 2 guys that we needed to talk about, which was Barely Alive and Marshmello. So those songs are dead giveaways, but the rest of this is basically the other non-dubstep experience members can just like guess whether like I sincerely love the shit that we're listening to right now, or whether I'm like, no, I always knew this was bad.
We can play this game with
Or
me
somewhere in
too
between.
a little bit. Yeah.
This song is good.
Yeah, the song
this
is
the
good.
best.
I will say,
one of the best
definitely
songs.
compared to the rest of the playlist, yes, this shows like why he was the kind of formula. But also, I will say I like Kyoto better than this song, the other Sirah Skrillex song from that playlist. But I think Bangarang is the more emblematic and famous version of kind of what we're trying to paint a picture of, which is this very specific era where Skrillex takes the basic foundation of dubstep music from UK and adds these really loud blaring fucking electro synths and robot transformer noises to it, and creates a monster that he immediately cannot control. And yeah, that we're gonna talk about what starts the EDM bubble right here, this era of dance music specifically.
And I'll amend that. I will just fall immediately into my role of like resident snob, because there is kind of a step between that where Skrillex is not like directly drawing on UK dubstep, but he's drawing on the people who are drawing on it. Like you're sort of like 12th Planets, these American-based people who are, you know, kind of aping dubstep and just sort of cranking up the distortion and the aggro energy of it. Skrillex then hears that and applies like a bunch of EDM flavor to it, and the whole thing blows up, and like you said, sort of it becomes a scary monster, if you will.
It does.
I should say right now, like we can just with Skrillex, we can start with my origin story to all of this music, where I was like half in, half out on this. Like I was like semi-pilled and certainly aware of it, but was very much like that bitch in my high school where, to take it all the way back, a young Lily in 2010 is reading this month's issue of Alternative Press, which of course she is a subscriber to.
I knew you would get this.
I was so pissed.
I didn't need to say it. I didn't need to say it. I knew Lily would get to it.
No. Yeah, this is like an essential story to everything about me for the following 12 years. In fall 2010, I pick up an issue of Alternative Press that features a like profile on UK dubstep and sort of its like crossover, mainly in the form of Enter Shikari. Of course, the people who cross the pond, featuring like a playlist of, you know, the top 10 like essential dubstep tracks or whatever, which is a very good playlist. A lot of those songs I still listen to. Famously includes Ghost Hardware by Burial, at which point, you know, my life trajectory is just kind of like set. So I listened to that. And then not a little bit later in the same month, we are in digital arts class in school, which is just fuck around on the computer time. And my bully friend, I don't know if you ever had those friends who just are around to bully you, pulls up a video on YouTube and says, "Hey, have you ever heard this? It's this new kind of music called dubstep." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And he plays to me, hands over one earbud, plays to me Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites by one Skrillex, to which I say the words that proceed to haunt me for the remainder of my time in high school, quote, "That's not what dubstep sounds like." which is maybe the definitive origin story to me and my entire relationship to bleep music. So like I have to enter this as someone who is exposed to it constantly, yet knows like what the actual forebear is and is very annoyingly adolescently insistent on that being quote unquote the real stuff, as this just like fucking takes off and shoots through the moon. And also I then learned Skrillex is Sonny Moore, former lead singer from First to Last, a band I was listening to a ton not 2 years prior.
Yes, that's the other thing, is that Skrillex combines the two types of guy we're talking about, which really are the same guy, which is pop punk / hardcore guy and dubstep DJ guy. Here's the crossover. They're both sex pests. There are a lot of artists that I wanted to include on this playlist for historical accuracy that I had to remove because of them being sexual predators and me not wanting to talk about them.
Yeah, one of them could be outed as a sex pest before this episode releases.
It's genuinely possible.
The number of artists that I had to, on this playlist, Google their DJ name, sexual assault accusations, ? There were a couple that I had to run a check on, you know?
You just got to be sure. You never know with this fucking type of guy.
And with
Sonny
Skrillex
Moore,
too, I mean, he's
Sonny Moore, like
Diplo.
Not a pest, but weirdly sort of the amalgamation of like three separate, equally odious types of guy, which is like post-hardcore guy / pop punk guy, dubstep guy, and EDM guy eventually.
Yes, it's really, as someone who saw Jack U in concert when they were as that duo, like I really always have resented Diplo even before I fully realized like how bad of a hack he was and how awful of a person he was. Like even in the period where I sort of paid attention to him, I did so out of resentment and always kind of like saw Skrillex as like he's got a slightly smarter head on his shoulders. Like I liked a lot of the stuff that Skrillex put out of Ausla Records. Like that record label was very important to me as a young lad, and so like I kind of saw him as, you know what, maybe he's got a decent head on his shoulders. And then now he's just posted up with fit pics with Jordan Peterson, and I've had to reevaluate some of my judgment skills, which are often not good if you remember my stand-in of Mark Kozilek. Anyways.
Same. Yeah. And we should also note the sort of like Sunny EP that he does in between From First to Last and Skrillex, which sort of adds to the baffling nature of all this, because that's not an album that I can describe with any words that aren't slurs that apply to myself. And 10 years later, the dude's chilling with Jordan Peterson. Like it really is something else. Not to dwell on that too much, to get back to the music side of it, like listening to Bangarang now, you do see how this guy also ended up being like one of the Jack U guys, because as we'll see in a moment, like the thing that is severely lacking from a lot of the other songs on this playlist is like any sense of actual catchiness or like structural inventiveness. Whereas like part of what makes Bangarang get away with being itself is that it is sort of like, it's doing that thing that is one of the best things about electronic music, where it's kind of just like recombining these permutations of like 6 different individual elements, and is able to do that at like a mathematically calculated rate so that your ear is kind of always interested, even though you like on an ideological level kind of detest what's happening. And so, you know, the song still hits. It's also wild to consider Bangarang as like the true breakout for Skrillex, because like, I don't know, Scary Monsters was a real like 4chan hit, and then like Bangarang was when my friends who don't listen to electronic music started listening to Skrillex, and they were like, hey, have you heard of this guy called Skrillex? He makes dubstep. And I was like, well, and then no one talked to me for the rest of the year.
My friend Zach in 8th grade, he didn't ever get sauce on his pizza. It wasn't like an allergy thing. Just didn't like it. He introduced me to dubstep, and Bangarang was an undeniable song. But for the most part, I like tried to deny that I didn't like dubstep. And Lily, this is the first time you're hearing this, but in middle school I was a brony.
Classic.
We're all unpacking trauma on this episode.
Yeah,
this is a safe space.
No, I have to.
We are all loved and accepted here.
I felt
Continue.
like I couldn't talk until I came clean with this. In 8th grade, I went to a convention.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of the nights there was like a dance EDM night, and I went. I had a good old time, and it was like bad dubstep, but it had the pony tinge to it. And I was the only minor there, almost certainly. But I was out until like 3 a.m. Sneak back.
You were the only person with a right to be there as a minor.
Yeah, truly.
At the My Little Pony dubstep gig. I think you were the only person in the right.
Yeah, you should be talking like you're in the wrong in this story.
I denied the real fake thing. Yeah. But like that night kind of was like, it unlocked a key in my brain. It's like, oh, maybe this stuff is good. And I never explored actual dubstep, but I still like hold that night with me as just like a reminder of where I came from, I guess.
Yeah, I would offer to do the like elitist jams only counterpoint playlist to this, but it would be very boring because it would just be us being like, oh yeah, this song's interesting. Huh. What do you know?
Look, I support the three of you in this. I love Fish. Fish is also guys who go for way too long, but they're like in their 50s and they play like white boy reggae. It's probably worse than what these guys are doing, but I can't handle this. This is one of the more palatable songs, but it's just like I'm trying to not sound like grandpa, saying like it's just very loud noises, but man, these noises are so fucking loud sometimes.
I mean, you kind of you should sound like grandpa about us. Like that's the thing this playlist really revealed to me was that it makes sense that this was such a moment. Like being 16 when this music was big was the right time to like be 16 and aware of this music because this music has like the most adolescent sensibility where it's like I only care about being as loud and obnoxious as possible at all times.
Yeah, but this song also it does actually have a pretty like cool melody. I'll give it that. But it's
sorry to interrupt.
Please get off my lawn and turn it down.
Max has posted a video to the chat. Is this the gig you were at, Max?
This is my first experience with live music ever.
Oh my god!
My god.
No way! Oh, let's go! Pony Stock.
EFNW 2012 Pony Stock Friday Night Camera One upstairs only.
God.
This is like the biggest guy in the scene. This guy's
I'm just gonna skip around.
I'm so happy because this is gonna make all my stories sound so tame by comparison.
No wait, this isn't it.
Oh,
sorry. I think I was
two. Okay, I can't even describe two men in black graphic t-shirts with haircuts that I can best describe as not really a haircut, just whatever. They're wearing badges. They're both wearing cargo shorts. One of the graphic t-shirts is an NES controller. This is too visceral. I have a video. Max posted this. Modern Warfare 3 Gunsync number 7 Bangarang. Someone syncing gun noises from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
That was like the concert. This is the EDM part. I got it.
I just
Someone should.
Why would you make this?
Once the beat drops, it gets so much better.
Oh man.
So we're watching. I believe this is High Rise on Modern Warfare 3. I don't know how.
Oh my
and
god!
they're firing the weapons.
This is very funny.
Rocks.
This is what that one guy does, but in a video game. The impression that I get guy. The gun gram guy.
So much more respect for the guy that does it in real life.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Maddie, if you want to click on the new link I've provided.
I just want to note that while the whole time we were doing that first section and Gavin had said anything, he posted a image in the group chat that's it's the
4.5 hours long, man.
No, it was a set. I was there for most of it.
EFNW Pony Stock Friday Night Camera 2.
2012 was a formative year for me.
I like that they didn't think to edit. They just posted the camera angles separately. And left it up to you.
It's just going to be on YouTube forever.
Oh my god.
Anyways, we got to move on. We're like 23 minutes and we're almost 24
That
minutes.
was the most important song. That one deserves some time.
We'll get to these next ones relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Jackie, what is the next song we are going to talk about?
The next song is called Mosh Pit by Flosstradamus and Casino. Flosstradamus, just while this is playing, for those of you here, were this very, very obnoxious. Like, from the moment I got into this music, I always thought these guys were obnoxious. They made EDM trap music. They were one of the crucial early artists to popularize the sound. And this is a song with Casino, who, fun fact, is the brother of Future. They're related.
What word?
Yes,
Wild
which is why he has the voice that he does. But you'll see why Casino's career has not had the same trajectory, unfortunately.
Jackie, was this like a big song that you came across at the time, or was this like a new discovery you made?
No, I heard this song so many fucking times at
Which is
raves.
very interesting, because this song revealed to me another crucial aspect of my sort of like dubstep/EDM origin story, which is that so much of what I got exposed to was informed by the fact that I did go to a Catholic school. So I never heard a word about this song by virtue of the fact that it rhymes shit with shit too many times for it to ever like be played on school grounds.
This is a song I learned about from my early time. I mean, once I started getting really into RL Grime, who we'll talk about later, I met some people, including two of the people I met at one of my first Coachella was this couple named Simon and Tracy, who I met because they had like RL Grime merch and I had RL Grime merch. They are married and have a child now, is what I need to tell you people. And they are two of the nicest people I've met. I love them with all of my heart. They are like seriously lifelong friends of mine. But they were also really big fans of Flosstradamus in the peak of this era. And the fans of Flosstradamus call themselves Hoodie Nation, which was HDY Nation. And they would all wear like merchandise that had the big like warning sign with the exclamation point on it. Like all of them have like that symbol on it, and like Weed Leaves 420, they're really about like 420 Blaze It was like a big part of their platform.
Calling any group of people a Hoodie Nation is a bad idea.
It's a whole thing. And while I have no judgment for friends of mine who were a part of this, and I have seen Flosstradamus live a couple of times. They were the worst kind of DJ where like the only reason they were a duo was that so the entire night while one of them was lazily mixing the one song into the next song, the other one could be doing "Are you guys fucking ready?" like type stage work.
Those guys.
Really, really, really obnoxious with it. And
it makes so much goddamn sense that the Grateful Dead are getting their flowers after everything that I'm hearing tonight.
You're right to like, Gavin.
The merchandising and just all of this. It's like, man, like not to always bring it back to jam bands. I guess that's my angle with this episode.
It is very similar.
It is a valid point of comparison. Yeah,
I haven't said the word looks
What is
yet,
the Grateful Dead's version of candy?
Oh God, don't you dare!
I'm gonna, Lily.
What's
I'm
the Grateful
sorry.
Dead version of what?
Do you know what candy is?
Max, assume I know nothing about
so
any
one of the
this.
big things with EDM culture is that all those fucking bracelets that they wear, like they wear like beaded like
like white people with dreadlocks, obviously.
Yes, but it's like it's a whole culture where you go to the raves and you like trade candy with people, and they like do this heart thing where they link up their hands and they like trade the beads over.
Wait. Is that why Kieran Culkin has like 1 billion bracelets on when he's on like a late night talk show? Is he a rave head?
I would have to look at the picture whether that looks.
Hang on,
we'd have to check the exact gradient and composition of the bracelet. Because the thing is, like, these were literally candy bracelets at one point because that was like an easy way to like port ecstasy pills into a concert. No, that's something else.
No,
that's some being a Culkin bullshit.
K-A-N-D-I.
Yeah, that's just
he's just
just crazy ass white boy stuff.
Yeah, that's Bam Margera. Bam Margera type shit.
Okay. Maddie, just Google candy with a K and KNDI EDM.
Yeah, I think for the Grateful Dead, it was probably just actual drugs. It was probably just passing drugs around.
Well, the thing is, people
Balloons
could
full
smuggle
of
drugs
fucking
into
nitrous.
Grateful Dead concerts in their orifices because they were adults.
Like those ones down there, the EDC ones. Like people put insane amounts of these on their arm and like trade them and stuff. It's it is a fascinating subculture.
Hold on, who is the man Candy? Click on that photo.
Oh, he's got a Pride Month.
Can we
mix.
save this photo?
Visual medium stuff. We need to talk about music.
Okay, continue. Sorry, yeah.
God, this is just gonna get off the rails so many times because I have truly so many stories that are like flooding into my brain right now. Like this is, I loved the thing about this music is that the reason why it develops such a like cult-like culture in a way that is similar to jam band is because it is all about the live experience. Like the only reason why it's meant to be seen is if it's like 50-foot tall speakers that are like, I always like liken it to the way like when you're, at least when I was a kid and you'd go to the ocean, you'd be like, I'm going to just like throw myself into the ocean waves for fun because like that I just want to feel something like, I just want to feel some like, and that, I mean, I was a depressed, closeted trans teen. Like I wanted to just feel something. And dubstep was there to hit me over the face with really, really bricked out sound waves coming out of 50-foot tall speakers that are being redded out because the DJ just pushes the gain knob as high as it'll go.
And that makes my involvement in this even more baffling because there was no like underage rave culture where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
So like, why was I paying attention to any of this?
It's
probably the same reason why I was interested in punk in a suburb outside of Dallas, Texas. It's just there's at this point the motion of the ocean. Yeah, it's a thing to do.
I already had metal for that though. That's the weird part.
Yes.
That is
like I had a thing.
Yeah.
I have the exact reverse trajectory of Lily, where I unfortunately, growing up in Los Angeles, California, got exposed to the worst shit and basically had to what's the fucking famous prison movie? Why am I blanking on this detail of it?
Redemption?
Yeah, I had to Shawshank my redemption my way out through the worst EDM shit and find my way eventually to the good EDM shit to become the tastemaker I am today. But unfortunately, that involved many years of just like learning what bad EDM sounds like and unimaginative EDM sounds like, and EDM that literally just copy pastes the same drop multiple times in the same song. And one of the very first times I saw EDM live, to transition into our next song, in case we have anything else we need to say about Mosh Pit, I don't really think so.
I have nothing to say about this song.
It's a song.
It's a song. But one of the first times I saw EDM live was at the very first Coachella I went to. Not even for the full set. For like a good 25 minutes, I stumbled my way into the Sahara tent and Knife Party was playing around the time of this song that we're going to talk about next, which is called Internet Friends, which is 5 fucking minutes long.
Oh my
which
God,
is
yeah. I was kind of railing against this song. You can go ahead and play it, Maddie.
Yeah.
We'll talk over it. I was kind of railing against this song in the chat. I think it was undeserved. I think this was just the first song to hit 5 minutes, so I'm gonna be nice to it.
Yeah, the first of how many? I did not realize how long a lot of these songs were.
Bass Cannon is 5 minutes long. Cinema Skrillex Remix is 5 minutes long. I Can't Stop is 5 minutes long.
Bass Cannon and I Can't Stop being 5 minutes long is a crime.
It is.
Yeah, I agree.
That's nuts.
I think we need to pay attention to the lyrics here. I think we need to.
Yeah.
The lyrics of this song are just it's so hard to explain to anyone how this could be a thing out of context, but
oh no, I totally get it. I mean, the thing is, this is sort of like one of the last little bits of the kind of like post MySpace, post Katy Perry, You Are Gay sort of era, where like people thought a lot of good music was just like well-produced cyberbullying. I would chalk the Medic Droids for sure into that as well.
It's kind of like 303-ish.
And like very...
it is.
Not to invoke a canceled person, but like quite Jeffree Star-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
More detail to know about this band, they are Australian. So let that compete. Also, apparently 2 members of Pendulum is Knife Party, which is unfortunate.
The doorbell.
It's so funny. The horror movie. The fact that they actually play this live and
God, people are just no.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die.
I never realized how long this build-up is. No wonder the song's 5 minutes.
It's
The
so
drop
fucking
is
long.
1 minute.
He milks it so much. They milk it so much harder than
Why
they need to. It's ridiculous.
Why is there a part after they say, now you're going to die, before the drop?
Yeah.
Like, drop it after that. Like, that, you're not doing better
It's
than
so
that.
fucking funny. I can't deal with. It's very unfortunate that these two of these members were part of Pendulum, a group I actually do still kind of like and respect, the drum and bass OGs. But this is basically them saying like, "Fuck it, let's do the most crass thing we can do and make a bunch of." This is Maddie. Thank you for bringing this up. This is exactly what I'm about to reference.
Yeah, I'm about to play something else. Before we do that, though, I went on a fucking journey with a song. I think this is a song that I listened to that I was like, okay, I have to be on this episode, like, as a full person. Like, I went on, again, listening to this song is like being blackout drunk. It's the process of getting blackout drunk, but like non-chronologically. Like, you go on, like,
Yes.
it's not chronological. Just there's moments where it's like, okay, this is me when I'm blackout. This is me like pre-blackout. Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up, and then you get to blackout and it's great.
But is that the appeal of it?
Maybe.
Let's run
I don't
that
fucking
back.
know.
You get to blackout and it's great. I don't know about that.
Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, it could be
say,
great. It could be. Look, it could be great. Could be not great. I don't know. I didn't remember it because I'm blackout. Which I've never been blackout drunk though. Listeners, I'll admit that straight up.
Man, I was
Just
blackout
assume
drunk with
being
Will for
blackout
Thrill when
is
I was
good.
singing Oasis and
Oh yeah, that's
throwing
right.
up at the same
I've
time.
gotten close.
Classic.
I should say I've gotten close, but I've never gotten all the way. Which I think it's literally just because my autism kicks in and goes, you're not, you're not going past this level, buddy.
Here's what I'll say. I'm halfway into a huge whiskey sour report for myself, and I'm ready to start ranking the religions with you all. So let's go.
Let me tell you, I was done an entire beer, a song and a half into this podcast, so I'm right there with you.
I might go get another beer.
I again, after doing a 2-beer podcast, I cannot do another 2-beer podcast, even if I'm not like hosting fully.
We should all block each other on Facebook
just to make sure.
Yeah, just to feel something.
Let's play this video you've queued up for us.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say what it is. You're gonna know what it is as soon as you see it. Probably, like as soon as you hear
I've
it,
never
you're gonna know
seen
what it
this
is.
video.
I completely
You've
forgot
never
this
seen
was
it?
a thing. Oh, Da Vinci with the Avicii font is so fucking good.
Da Vinci.
R.I.P. Avicii. We cut you from this playlist and you're dead now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is The Lonely Island. When Will the Bass Drop? Their song making fun of EDM DJs.
I think this was on one of the last SNLs I watched live.
By the way,
woman just said this DJ is amazing.
That's what women are saying.
The controller right next to the bass button is the very first DJ controller I ever owned. Fun fact.
Yeah, that's that's a Pioneer, right? I don't remember the model.
It's the Newmark. Not the CDJs. Next to it, there's a little like.
Sorry, Pioneer.
It's not there. Never mind. I just
your podcast.
Yeah, this is a very accurate bit that even at the time I was like, you got their ass there. I also wanted to know while we were talking about Knife Party. Knife Party has a song in 2016 called Battle Sirens featuring Tom Morello.
Dangerous Truths fame.
Dangerous Truths fame. And that is the same world. It's so funny that Tom Morello has entered like EDM guy world now with his recent albums and collaborations. It's very funny.
Yeah, this still works.
It's kind of depressing how many people in this sketch are still on SNL.
Really is.
Honestly, it's kind of sad.
That's one of the more disturbing things about this sketch. Like, ranking the top 3 worst things about this sketch, it's like the premise, the number of cast members who are still on SNL, and like the fact that Jackie and I know what the equipment is.
I'm ready to denounce Christianity.
Oh yeah, people's heads are exploding.
I shouldn't say anything musically about Knife Party. They don't deserve even my analysis. I'll just say that this is like less dubsteppy and more like the kind of overblown electro house that is like Swedish House Mafia, but with like American, or in this case Australian aggro-ness added to it, basically.
I think this
it's
is
very like
Dead
Mouse adjacent too. Like I think they had whatever that fucking big song he had was called. I think they had like a remix of that or something, and that was the extent of my knife party awareness.
This is I would call this the butt rock of EDM, but I understand that's an insult to butt rock. Like
it
fully.
Really is.
There's another song that is butt rock on
we're gonna
this
get
playlist.
to that one,
I would say. This feels like proto Chainsmokers, not in sound, but in like
that's
attitude.
Dead on.
Well,
and like
Gavin, have you heard Selfie? Like the first Chainsmokers hit?
Yes,
yeah,
I have.
It's
heard
very Selfie adjacent.
Proto
it is proto
Selfie.
100%.
It's what classifies for humor among wealthy EDM DJs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna light the second wick of my candle before this
next song. We keep moving through this playlist because we have a lot of songs to talk about.
Looking at the waveform for it is.
There are heavy waveforms for all of these, including one that is so much bigger than we need to be that we'll get to later. But right now, let's listen to the first of two Flux Pavilion songs. The other really crucial dubstep person that we have to talk about in terms of what has shaped this sound is, I believe he's British, right? Flux Pavilion?
Maybe.
Probably.
I actually don't know. Well, you think he's British because he always gets fucking posted on like that UKF YouTube channel that is still uploading, by the way.
That is exactly what I wanted to talk about, which is the UKF YouTube channel that would upload the songs with the circle, the speaker,
the bullseye logo and the flame.
The blue speaker head that the music was in theory coming out of. And this was a very popular YouTube channel in which many a person would load up Flux Pavilion bass cannon and listen to. I'm going to pull up the YouTube comments for that video right now, but go ahead and play Flux Pavilion bass cannon right now, Maddie.
While you're at it, pull up the comments on MLK When I Look at You, because that was also a fucking inescapable song on that channel.
I'm going to say it before we get there. This drop is the most headache-inducing thing I've ever had to listen. We listened to 22 minutes of the most unwanted song or whatever, and just the drop of this song is so much worse than anything in that song.
I would agree. It's also
this.
It's very mean how this song starts, and maybe this guy must be British, because the song starts off sounding like an actual like mid-2000s UK dubstep song. Like it sounds like a Mala track, and then it does this. Again, very like representative of the sensibility circa like the turn of the 2010s, where people were like, oh, the internet dial-up sound, like I remember that.
Dubstep got so warped immediately once it took off in America in such a way that like it immediately evolved into such a extreme that you could never tell that there was any link between the two originally. But this is one of the songs where you can hear the original skeleton of the other genre being like cranked all the way the fuck up. My title for my opinions on this song is this song is why I can enjoy black dresses now.
Okay, fair point.
Basically, this is my earliest exposure to it sounds fucked up, but you like that for some reason, you sick little piggy? I don't know. I don't like this song a lot anymore, but I will admit to enjoying Flux Pavilion at the time. And this was one of his big signature songs, even though it is it is trying to do the one more time trick of what if you say just one more time, and as Vince Staples says, that's lyricism. It doesn't always work, and even though I have been saying let the bass cannon kick it to myself all day, it is stuck in my head, but it's only there by force, because it's 5 minutes long, and it just like...
The 5 minutes thing really has shocked
Mario hits him on the head with a hammer.
But this is concussion like music to me.
Oh man, that hits different coming from a hockey town. I will tell you that. And yeah, Jackie, you're completely right. Like that is a realization I had listening to this playlist and seeing like which I don't like this song, but seeing which of the songs on this playlist I like. It's like, yeah, it's no surprising that I like was kind of forged in these fires and grew up to stand like black dresses and Meshuggah. Like if something is bricked out and repetitive, a part of my brain is going to be automatically into it.
I am now going to read a couple of comments from the Flux Pavilion Bass Cannon UKF Dubstep upload, which has 27 million views.
Oh my god!
On this particular upload, and it's not the it's the usual animated speaker. And the first one is: a whole generation of us melted our faces off to this. ... Never forget. That's Sinocracy posted that one. I remember listening to this in middle school and thinking I was the hardest MF. The legend never dies. Someone is going hard on that cowbell. This song is the perfect alarm. It wakes you up slowly by starting quiet and then eventually really loud.
Wait, Jackie, what was the first comment you read about the...
an entire generation of us melted our faces off to this Never Forget.
Okay, so the first comment on the MLK When I Look at You UKF video is shout out to the generation who grew up listening to this like me. Y'all are dope.
It's so funny. I talked about this when I wrote my review of Joy Orbison, but people going back to dance music uploads from 2009, 2010, and 2011, they comment in the replies like they're talking about Woodstock now. Like
they really do.
I was gonna say this is the same shit I see in children of the 70s and 80s Facebook group. Like it's depressing me. Like, holy shit, y'all. Wasn't that long ago?
Verbatim, also the description in this video for When I Look at You. Absolute tune. If you've not heard this, then you need to climb out of that hole you're in! ! Most notably in Caspa's Essential Mix, although is being played by big DJs around the world. Which sounds like the dubstep version of the DJ Khaled, like on the phone with Apple requesting to use their biggest servers thing.
Here's another one on MLK's When I Look at You from Owen. Listening to dubstep and playing COD all day. Take me back, please.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, I should mention I tried to do an experiment where I played Call of Duty while listening to this playlist, and then the second Internet Friends came on, I had to pause Call of Duty and just listen to the playlist. Because I had to give it my attention, so I'm sorry to those who I promised I would go through.
On the contrary, I listened to I think 6 out of my 10 listens of this playlist were while I was playing Gran Turismo, and I got pretty decent.
Oh yeah,
all gold tier driver school graduate, folks. There we go.
All right, let's get to the next song. Next song. We got more Flux Pavilion to talk about. Next song was.
No, Bass Cannon, the hook is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. The worst thing ever. Yeah. That 2-note, like, just loud thing is the worst.
It makes me feel very
like,
old.
I don't know.
But, like, it's just like, at live shows, it's like, kids, you're hearing. Please think about it.
No.
Oh, kids,
I did fuck up my hearing a little bit. Yep. That's not. What's
that one meme of like the people, like so and so, taking notes? I feel like Merzbow was listening to a song and taking notes for his discography when he's listening to that hook. What is our next song though, Jackie?
Our next song is "Fall in Love" Moody Good remix, which we can play a little snippet of. This is, of course, a remix of the Slum Village song "Fall in Love," which is like about 70% of, spoiler alert, what makes it actually good in comparison to a lot of these. But it is also, I would say, still probably my favorite dubstep song of this sort of style. This is a good song, I think, still. I like it.
I can tell by the waveform, I did not hear this song before this episode, and I can tell by the waveform what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but it's like, he at least takes the care to translate the melody of the original Slum Village song into the dubstep drop, so it feels like an extension of the other one, and when he brings the vocals back in, like, it gives it the quality of the original in a way that works for me. And I also just think that the actual production of the sound design of all the noises is much more creative and less abrasive, I think. Like, I recently... Kayla, the producer of Endless Scroll, recommended that I check out Moody Good's album from like 2017 called Music to Go Fuck Yourself To, which is great. It's basically, the way I described it for MWE is like imagining a future where this style of music was taken to creative places instead of the least possible creative places. But unfortunately, like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about this song?
This one,
I think this one's nice.
This is the most probably the most tolerable song on the entire playlist.
That's
I like
good.
it.
Do you like Bangarang, Maddie? Or have you ever heard
Bangarang's good.
before this
But again,
episode?
Bangarang is good, but when I describe Bangarang as tolerable, like
Okay.
you cannot describe that song as tolerable. It's too much. This song
It
is like
demands your attention.
perfect. Exactly. This is just like
Yeah,
chill.
it definitely
This is
does.
kind of go in the background. You're like, okay, I can kind of
a
zone
good
out.
song. I like the song. I wanted it to be some enjoyment for our listeners and fans. And hey, check out that Moody Good album from 2017 if you are remotely interested in this kind of music.
I actually will. I do love that I, by virtue of having Apple Music, denied myself the one like good music break in the middle of this playlist.
Yeah, this is only on Spotify still because I guess Spotify hasn't noticed that this is just a remix because it says like remix in the title, but it's not credited to Slum Village. So I don't know about that. I hope he's given Slum Village money for this, but he probably hasn't made any money from this either.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, but. I do really like this remix a lot, and this remix was very influential for me. Like, as someone who dubstep was never my favorite genre, even of aggro EDM, I was much more of an EDM trap person, which we're about to get into. But actually, no, not about to get into. Jesus Christ, I forgot about our next surprise we have in store. But yeah, Fall in Love Moody Good remix, pretty good. I still really enjoy it quite a bit.
Do I eat a banana Twinkie, a normal Twinkie, or a chocolate Twinkie?
I never heard of
Wait,
a banana
you have
Twinkie.
flavors in your 60 Twinkie pack?
Yeah.
Should we contextualize this for the listener? We'll probably talk about it more in the episode we're recording tomorrow, but like fill us in on the Twinkie situation briefly.
Yeah, so I moved across the country recently. I'm now I won't dox myself. I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah. What's that?
East Coast Max.
East Coast Max.
Yeah, correct. And one of my dad's friends wanted to know my address so he could send me a care package. And so my dad said, sure. And he gave him my address, and I left my house on Sunday and opened the door, and there's an Amazon package. And I was like, I haven't ordered anything off Amazon. Open the package, and inside are 60 Twinkies. I have 20 regular flavored, 20 chocolate, and 20 banana. I asked my parents, like, hey, did you order this for me? He's like, no, my friend Dave gave it to you. He knew you liked Twinkies when I came over to his house when I was like 4, and I ate a Twinkie, and he was like, he knew you liked Twinkies, so he gave me 60 of them. I was like, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I would vote chocolate on that, but I'm not a big Twinkie guy, so I don't know anything. I was
like 13. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're America's favorite snack, or so I've heard. Flex Caliber has not uploaded in 7 months, so I'm going to comment on his most recent video. Hey, bro, where you at? Missed the uploads.
Is he on Instagram?
What happens from there?
He's got to be on like Instagram or TikTok at this point, right?
He's got to be on somewhere. I'm going to find him, and I'm going to comment everywhere, because I'm almost done with my whiskey sour, and I'm ready to rank the religions whenever you are, so let's fucking do that.
Well, you might lose your religion to this next song, Gavin, because our next artist is... again, why is this on the playlist, Jackie? Why would you?
Because
bring this man back into our lives.
Because Marshmello's been in the canon, and I have to show you what it looks like when Marshmello tries to do his sort of like, because he has this whole aesthetic of being like so sunshiny, syrupy.
I just shared Flex Caliber to my Facebook profile. What is the hardest bass music shit out? I'm gonna let my ancestors decide that.
Marshmello, because he has this like very very like aggressively sugary sweet like sound to his like synths and his whole like gimmick, he likes to do this thing every once in a while where he makes a dubstep song with someone else that's really hard to prove that like he's hard and not just the pretty Jesus Christ, just play this stupid song. It is literally the worst bricked out waveform I've ever seen in my entire life.
This so bad. It's
this
really
intro
incredible.
That's just a synthesizer is bricked all the way like a Death Grip song. It's unfucking believable that this guy is allowed
really wild
near a computer.
All right, I'm gonna go get another beer and then give my opinion on this song.
Please do.
I don't know how to delete videos off Facebook, so I think it's gonna chill there.
It's there. It's a proper question. Flex also has not uploaded to Instagram.
The last post
in the
I
same
made on
amount of
Facebook
time.
was to a friend that died.
Oh, no.
A Flex Caliber video and shit. That was back in August, though.
Oh, damn.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I don't care for this one bit.
Also, Marshmello trying to do the sellout thing. Like, oh, I'm taking the piss out because I'm saying it before you. Terrible, awful.
Machine Gun Kelly style. It's just like this is just YouTube like intro guy music to me, and like I know that's like what Marshmello is always gonna be, but like it's
YouTube.
I don't know.
Intro music crossed with this awful style of dubstep that's called rhythm. Which is my least favorite style of this music, and unfortunately, friends and loved ones of mine enjoy sometimes, which is basically this style of drop that you just heard that is like so fucking cranked up and is so like trying to sound like Transformers colliding into each other. Like it's the most like, but they all do it in exactly the same way. That's the thing, is that it's not creative. Like there are lots of bass music musicians I know that are like, I hear something, I'm like, I've never fucking heard something like that before. What is that sound? And all of these guys are just recreating the same sound, like their Flex Caliber going that wah, it's a wah. Like it's that lazy and repetitive. And when you hear 15 different DJs, I mean, like, thankfully I never went to dubstep focused events. Like that was, I would go to big EDM festivals and that stuff would be around. And sometimes like you see one style of DJ and they throw one dubstep song in there. And that's probably the way you want to enjoy this, as like a variant in other styles of aggro EDM music, rather than like listening to 10 songs of this in a row, which people do. But most of those people either just have a very particular music taste or they're recreational drug addicts. Whatever. No judgments. Addiction is a sickness. But
either
no
or. There were two music festivals in my neck of the woods that catered to like both of those respective audiences. One was called Shambhala, which was like the more EDM-y one. I don't even remember what the fully dubstep focused one, but it was definitely like you must be a white person with dreadlocks to enter kind of situation.
Yes, exactly. the one that Flex Caliber talks about.
It just reminded me of the
Flex
dead.
Caliber talks about is Lost Lands Festival. He mentions it in a lot of his videos. I'm trying to remember exactly where it is.
Arizona.
I forget. I always forget where it is, but it's one. Yeah. There are a lot of these that are in the bumfuck middle of the country.
We gotta get this fucker on the pod, man.
There's
I love this guy
Forest,
so much.
which is in the really, really big one. Electric Forest.
It's in Ohio.
It is. Lost Lands is in Ohio. Electric Forest is in eastern Michigan, like not near one of the big cities, like way the fuck out in eastern Michigan in a forest. And at those festivals, you are likely to encounter the white dreadlock type of person that is called a wook, which is basically crust punks for EDM people.
It's like the international waters of land.
They also don't shower. They also have white people dreadlocks. They also do lots of psychedelics. It's just deadheads. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Culture recreates
This is just convincing me.
Like,
it's deadheads who think synthesizers are a real instrument.
The core of ravers is that
this is just convincing me. We need to
like they're just so much happier than probably like we are. I'm just an
a lot of them
day.
are
absolutely
just
all of these people.
Maybe this is pretentious, but just like not being critical of the music they're listening to at all, just vibing out, just mollied out to music. Like Jackie, you were saying, just 7-8 hours.
Happy for it.
It is like a case study in the guiding principle of the last 2 years of this podcast, in that it's such a case study in like being stupid is better for you.
It is, and even though there are periods of this that I have my regrets about the amount of time I spent singing into this, and also I will note that while this doesn't really apply to a lot of like my friends, like you meet people at these scenes that are not happier because they have completely fried the serotonin receptors of their brain by doing Molly every weekend.
Yes. Oh my God. When you meet a truly like Molly fried person, it is so upsetting.
It's fucking scary.
It's
and
like
I would like to take
zombie shit.
This break here to just say the number one thing about recreational MDMA use is that you're not supposed to do it very regularly because you just like wear out the part of your brain that is supposed to produce those chemicals. And you should take long breaks, and you should read about how to roll safely if you're gonna go do that. Kids listening to this podcast, of whom there are none, I don't think. I don't know. Does anyone
demographic of listeners of this podcast is so not old, but like
every single person who listens to this podcast has listened to the Wet Leg
I
album.
haven't.
Probably
I'm holding out
deaf
strong,
ears.
Gavin.
there are like wives
you know,
in the people have wives in the Discord, and you know.
Yeah, I think
so
the
many
cast of this
wives. Shout
podcast
out-
is
if you
younger
have-
than its average listener somehow. I'm not sure how that worked out.
I
But
love that.
It's because
honestly.
we talk about indie rock music, and we were all fucking twerps when we started.
Yeah.
So all of the audience we've amassed is people older than us that like remember who Arcade Fire were. We're not getting Zoomer listeners. Like,
Yeah. Hey, if you remember Archers of Love, subscribe to our Patreon, please.
Oh my god! I totally forgot to mention. By the way, this is one of my favorite songs on the playlist. I think this Marshmello song is really good.
Wait,
And
what?
not
Oh
really
my
good, but, like,
god.
I greatly
God.
enjoy it.
Oh.
I think this
Lily.
again as like a fusion of the sort of like EDM. As a fusion of the EDM / rhythm thing. I don't know. It works, and maybe it's just where my ear is at these days. But I am like so much more interested, like with Bangarang and people who are trying to infuse a sort of like EDM-ish melodicism into this heavy bass stuff, unlike Flux Pavilion, which is truly just like modem sounds. Like this to me now, I don't think it's like good, quote unquote. Again, none of this is like quote unquote defensible, but I did quote unquote enjoy it.
Willie, I literally just listened to the song, and I cannot tell you how it goes.
That's a
so-
This song, here's what I'll tell you about this song. This song gets away with so fucking much on the grounds of ripping off the Lady Gaga Just Dance synth pad.
that's exactly what it
yeah.
is. But I will say that the way that it is executed is fucking awful. And even the parts of this song that are not the drop, that rhythm music now, like at 1 out of every like 7 rhythm songs, I'm like, okay, I can vibe with this, I guess. But like hearing enough of them in a row where most of them are not hits for me, like it makes me feel like a migraine is about to onset. That I've never had a migraine before, but I feel like I'm about to get one. Like it's really the most grating this genre ever gets. For
You ever
me.
had a migraine before?
I mean, I've had really bad headaches, but I don't think I've had a migraine.
Have you had a
Yeah,
migraine
same.
before?
I mean, I feel
They're
like
not
I've had a
universal,
migraine before.
but they're just common.
I don't know. Okay.
I feel
But,
for all migraine havers of the world, so in a way I've had one, but no, not me directly.
None of us have had a migraine, but we know someone who has. In the immortal words of the Boss Tones.
Sometimes it hurts me worse than them.
I'm gonna say this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get with all the deadheads, and I'm gonna get with my fish heads. I'm gonna get with Telethon Kevin and all the deadheads in the Discord. And 1 year from today, we're all gonna meet up and we're gonna listen to like maybe 3 Fish and Grateful Dead songs.
I will
because
be on.
those songs
I will
are
be on
long.
that podcast.
And we're just gonna. Yeah, I want this cast back, and we're just going to compare we're going to compare the
am
cultures.
excited.
We're going to compare, instead of ranking religions, we're going to compare the cultures.
Yeah,
I
that
think this
works,
is a
that
good
works.
idea.
Gavin's
but,
been wearing
this-
a bandana and
this-
muscle shirt for this entire episode, by the way, listeners.
Yeah, this is just what I'm not dressing
Yeah,
up. This is just what I wear. You can ask Maddie. I pretty much wear this every time we record.
I've just stopped
Yeah.
commenting on it after some time. It's
Yeah.
like, that's just Gavin's. That's just his fit.
I don't think Gavin
That's
and
just-
I have been on an
I live in
episode together in a
Oklahoma.
very long time. So this is a new energy for me.
It's been a
has.
while.
Wait,
I
what?
think.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Did you?
What'd you say, Maddie?
That is indeed
Of
what I
course.
said.
I'm
What
glad
was the
we have
ridiculous
that.
thing the Stained guy said recently? Like he did something
Oh,
bad
God.
again. I don't remember what it was. We're not gonna.
knows?
let's,
Move on.
instead of doing that, let's real quickly. We don't have to watch this full video because Jesus Christ, it's 15 minutes long. Maddie, we need to watch the very beginning of this Marshmello
Okay.
Flex Caliber video while we're on the topic.
I want to say Flex Caliber's
your boy.
wearing
Flex
a cap
Caliber.
with a bandana under
What
it,
up?
Brett Michaels style,
And
which
his
just
hat
makes me like him
is
more.
one of his own branded Flex with 2 X's hat.
Oh man.
There's
I
also
would like
please
one of
go
these.
watch a Flex video because there's no way to describe this man's glasses.
Yeah.
And his energy, like
Yeah.
it makes
Hearing is him
he has a
hitting his
beautiful
passengers.
smile. This man is charismatic.
He really
Taking
is.
care of some things.
Here's what I'll say. He deserves Rob Dyrdek's job.
All right, let's
Rob
hear what
Dyrdek.
Flex say.
Stole my
Step the fuck
glasses.
up.
My favorite 2 pairs of shades got jacked because I
Oh,
was in a
no.
hotel
No.
out of town.
no.
Someone stole them.
Oh,
Shit been a
Flex.
little wonky. But I'm back.
Oh,
And boy,
yeah,
do we
you
got
are.
some motherfucking heat for you today.
Ugh.
God damn it.
Oh,
I looked
yes, we
on my
do.
Spotify, and what the hell did I see? Marshmello?
Marshmello?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's favorite
Oh, yeah.
cuddly, tasty treat. Make you want to just bite them.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Shout out to the gays. It is.
Oh, boy.
Shout out to the gays.
I don't like that.
Hey! But like I was saying, you just gonna take
No, we gotta
Yeah.
get Flex on the pod. We gotta
It-
get
Let's
it's
get
Flex.
it.
really nuts
We need
that
to make
Flex is
Flex
not on
listen to
Cameo
Beauty.
since his thing is just like making cameos for free.
Yeah.
This man has a fanny pack
then
on his
you hear his
passenger
music,
seat, by the way.
and it's fun.
Yes, he does.
He keeps slapping his passenger seat.
He's Ric Flair chopping it.
Ridiculous fucking sound
He
design.
keeps smacking the
That
shit.
scene's
Next time he
rocking,
is
by the
here-
way, whenever he slaps that. Like, this man has
It
some
makes
core
you feel
strength.
like you're in a video
Next
game
time me
with
and
some
Gavin
shit
link up,
all
we're gonna do a
bubble
chop
gums
battle
and
and see who
sweets
can
and
survive.
Oh, you're gonna chop the
If
shit
internet
out of him.
trends
So
came
weak.
out today, it would be
I
called
love
"You Added Me on
Marshmello.
LinkedIn." Now you're going.
You're damn right.
Okay, that's enough flex. We gotta. What's
No,
our next
The
song,
important
Jackie?
part- the important part was him saying pause and then shout out to the gays, Happy Pride Month.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't know.
yes.
I thought he said shout out to the gays.
That is what he said. He did
Hell
he did the
yes.
homophobia pause and then shout out to the gays immediately afterwards. It's innovation. I'm telling you.
I would do anything
we
to have.
we need that on the soundboard. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
We need to get Flex on, and we need to just make him listen to like Pavement and Built to Spill
Yeah.
or something, and just get his take.
I would love that.
That's my dream. I just
All
want
right.
Flex to listen to like Carry the Zero.
Flex should listen to like Sigur Rós or something. We should make him
Oh
listen
my
to Sigur
God.
Ros's Brackets
We
album.
gotta ease him in. We gotta make him listen to some Pendant. Ease him in. Give him
Yeah,
some familiar sounds he likes.
Give
and
him a
then ease
crazy
him
ass
in.
white boy to
Give
to
him
Yeah.
a
Yeah, give him a
guitar.
crazy ass white
They're
boy.
going crazy.
Anyways,
all right.
next
we gotta
song.
move on to our
Jackie.
next song. The next song
Yeah.
is Core by RL Grime.
And this is
Um,
your smelling salts, is that right, Jackie?
This is exactly correct. The listeners can't see this, another visual element, but I'm currently wearing my Core long sleeve. This is one of my many, many, many pieces of RL Grime and We Did It merch.
Were you ever a
Because
member
I
of Hoodie
was
Nation?
I was not a member of Hoodie Nation. I own 0 Flosstradamus merch. Have never.
Oh, those are different artists.
Yes. This is a different guy. This is RL Grime, who formerly was Clockwork as an electro DJ. And then in 2012, I want to say, 2013, somewhere around there, he created another pseudonym for this new genre of mixing southern trap hip-hop music with like electro EDM music that he basically became the #1 artist of and became very, very rich doing so. This guy, I don't even know where to fucking start. I went to Coachella a lot as a young privileged teen from Los Angeles is wont to do, and also
I don't know if you actually need to continue the story beyond that. That might be all we need to hear.
That's kind of basically it. I had grandparents that lived out in Palm Desert, and we would stay at their house so that I could go to Coachella. And I saw RL Grime live the very first time he played Coachella in one of the side tents, one of the smallest tents at Coachella, which was a mistake because the teens packed the fuck into there. And to this day, I have literally never been in a rowdier crowd in my, like, any punk show I've been to, Daughters, like, there was more moshing there. Like, this wasn't moshing, but, like, literally, like, the scene in SpongeBob where it's all of the nematodes? All the nematodes in the Krusty Krab where they're, like, floating off of the ground in, like, waves. That was literally me between people, like, lifted up off of the ground because of like how many people were packed into this tent and how crazy everyone was going. There was a video of him dropping Work Remix by A$AP Ferg in this set and everyone going fucking hammer to it. That went really, really viral on Vine back in the day. RL Grime was a huge guy on Vine, both as his music, but also as a creator of funny videos. He was a friend of Adam Perkins's back in the day. R.I.P. Adam.
R.I.P. R.I.P. In the Memories video.
In the Memories video, had to. It would have felt wrong for me to not put him in there. But anyways, RL Grime. This song was like his big. This was the moment that This was the song that transitioned him from like. We Did It, the label that he comes out of, is so different than RL Grime. We Did It is Shlomo, Deej, Nick Mellons, like How to Dress Well, Jock Green, like that universe of alternative electronic music, which is the real stuff that I started getting hooked on also, like concurrently with the EDM stuff, that has maintained like the biggest part of my personality. If you know me, you've seen me wearing my Shlomo hoodie. Like there's just a 0% chance you haven't. So like this has always been a big part of like my personality, and a lot of my closest friends, including Mo, who Maddie met for the first time recently, and Dominica, like a lot of my friends are huge We Did It fans, huge RL Grime stans. And it's not just because he's really, really fucking hot. It's also because his DJ set that he played at Coachella was what inspired me to be a DJ, like 100%. It was so fucking exciting to see someone that like actually knew his hip hop and could incorporate it seamlessly into this super high-paced EDM shit, and like the way that it was all built together with these really clever DJ tools. And like it's a style of DJing I've grown sick of because of all the other people who do it, where like their whole set is just a bunch of edits they're stringing together to like that they just kind of hit play on every night. But like RL Grime was the best at doing it, and his Halloween mixes are still something I listen to every year. I highly recommend listening to the first couple of Halloween mixes specifically, where it's still in the hip hop. It's basically like inspired by 3 6 Mafia, spooky hip hop Halloween stuff mixed with all of the Los Angeles beat scene stuff that was going on at the time. So this is like concurrent with like Flying Lotus, and there was an event in LA called the Low End Theory, which unfortunately is no more, where there was a whole bunch of producers like Daddy Kev and Gaslamp Killer, who's another sex pest. Oh, they're all over the place. But that was a scene that was like, I went to Low End Theory a bunch of times, and like that whole underground beat scene was like super important to kind of what RL Grime was doing at the beginning. But very quickly he transitioned into making stuff like core, which is basically taking hip hop style drum patterns and making like crazy wait for the drop rave music with it, and using a Trick Daddy sample for the drop instead of like a YouTube clip or something. Like that's basically the whole thing. I just want to shout out the sample on this song, which is I'll pull it up so I get the actual name of it, but it's this 1992 Egyptian themed rave track that uses a horn sample on it that I don't know if it's authentic or it's just some person saying this kind of sounds like it's from Egypt. I have no idea, but if you go to the Who Sampled page for Core, it's this song that just basically he rips that horn from it, which is the siren song that goes through this whole playlist. And the music video for Core, which was designed and directed by David Rudnick, which is the whole design of these helicopters. It's like all themed with like, there's like all this like military base, like flashing lights, like red siren, like kind of like there's these helicopters that are basically flying to this hole in the ocean that's like it goes down to the bottom of the ocean, and it's all very minimalist. And it was all bait for teenage Jackie to just eat up with a spoon. And I loved this song at the time, and still love it. I still think it's fun.
I heavily dislike this song, so it's like maybe one of counting the last song, one of my bottom 3 on the playlist.
I hate this one. Sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, I really don't like this song. But so it is very wild to learn how many consequential like 2010s bleep things intersect with it. Like the fact that Low End Theory is maybe one of like the most consequent, next to like Ghetto Gothic, one of the most consequential club nights of like the 2010s.
Yes.
And similarly, David Rudnick proceeds to like invent the visual aesthetic of 2010s electronic music and like probably beyond.
Yes.
That's very funny to know, because the song kind of stinks. The thing is, it's like, if you're gonna do bass music, bring bass. I'm not into like some of these songs have what I would characterize as like anti-hooks. It's the same as bass canon, where the hook is just like one note and there's like a little bit of sub bass. Like we'll get to it with other songs that are still to go on this playlist, but it's like, if you're gonna do something, at least do something. And I feel like the song does not. At the same time, hearing you describe it, I can see how this was definitely like absolute fucking catnip to well off like LA brained rave teenagers.
Yes, that's exactly it. And I will say that this never was like my favorite RL Grime song, and I still, when I go back to Void is the album that is clearly made by someone who is being driven between two different creative instincts, one of which is that he knows exactly what is going to make him a fuck ton of money, and he also has listened to Burial. And so those two wolves are raging inside of him throughout the entirety of the album Void, which is his 2014 album. And there are some really great songs. There's a song with Boys Noise that I really like still. There's a song with Jemba, who's another guy from this scene who ended up becoming a behind-the-scenes ghost producer who no longer has a DJing career and lives in Pasadena and lives a happy life. And I salute that guy every fucking day he got out. Yeah, like that album I still kind of do love, even though I recognize that it's a lot more flawed than I thought it was at the time. But I will admit that like I have had my RL Grime disillusionment moment, which is his next album Nova, which came out in 2018, but feels like it came out a fucking eternity ago because of when 2018 was and what has happened since then, gestures broadly. But
I remember that and how upset you are. And like, as an aside to that, I believe it was in one of our first 3 conversations ever as friends that you sent me one of the RL Grime Halloween mixes.
I
should just drop that back.
Very important.
You ready to start ranking the religions, dude?
I just want to say, during the past, however long this has been going on, I love Jackie and I love Lily, and Lord knows I've gone on so many tangents about objectively worse shit than what has been going on, but I became a Hitman 3 NPC, and I'm waiting for a bald man to kill me. I'm just focused. I'm like staring off into one area and just waiting for someone to sneak behind me and choke me out.
Hey, you're lucky I'm here to be a Hitman cutscene director and like curb some of Jackie's monologues.
Yes, it's true.
I'm falling on the sword for the rest of you, even though it looks like I'm being complicit.
People come here for the Jackie monologues. I would never deny that.
They do.
But I just I kind of like the weird Tarzan-y hook on this, but I get the wanting more bass of it. This is a middle of the rotor for me.
I will just say that, like,
all in all,
as stupid as this sounds, so much of it was tied up in that "Who Do the Shit That I Do" little vocal drop, which was very, very fun and introduced me to Trick Daddy as a young teen. So RL Grime, I have to thank for that. I will say that
Judaism #1.
I will say there are much better RL Grime songs, and B, there are much worse RL Grime songs. I will say that his most popular song on Spotify now, which very unfortunately is the song UCLA, which is one of the many rap collabs on his most recent album from 2018, which is 24 Hours, which has 165 million plays on Spotify. Very, very popular song. But that song fucking sucks. I hate it so much. I hate like about half of Nova, and the parts of Nova that I do like are like watered down versions of stuff I've enjoyed before from him. Except for I Want to Know, which is a very good pop song, but it is like incredibly Spotify core, and the fact that song makes me tear up when I hear it is only out of the people that I love that song reminds me of, and is not because I do like that song, but I will say that I totally get why you guys are having this reaction to it, because even now, like, this song does not get me nearly as hyped as it used to. There are still some songs on here, like when I was listening to the Moody Good song on the playlist, I could not stop from fucking bobbing my head, which we should talk about headbanging culture at some point, but we'll get to that.
We're going to talk about it immediately. And I also did, even though I dislike this song, find myself kind of moshing around the kitchen to it earlier and was like, oh wait, god damn it, fuck. Like, I can see how had I been that person who like went to a show with a big sound system and heard this, how I would have that relationship with it. Also, he is pretty hot. I will give you that. I looked that up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pull him up, Maddie.
Got a nice jawline. Real nice.
All right,
Pull him up.
Okay. Hang on. Do
your job.
What does RL stand for?
It's a play on
It's a play on
R.L.
R.L. Stein, which I realized yesterday. I was
So
like, God fucking damn
the
it.
Halloween mixes have introductions from R.L. Stein, and then over the years, after doing R.L. Stein a couple years in a row, he started doing celebrity introductions instead, which is like all you need to know about the R.L. Grime career arc. But the original gimmick was like when R.L. Stein, after the very first Halloween mixtape, found out. We can listen to the intro right now. Matt, if you pull up a Halloween mixtape 2012, R.L. Grime, we can listen to the R.L. Stein intro. Halloween.
This is
there have been 10
picture-to-picture
Halloween
hot
mixtapes
guy,
since.
in my opinion.
What do you say, Gavin?
He's a picture-to-picture hot guy. There are pictures where I definitely see it, and there are pictures where I don't.
Yeah, I
It's got
agree.
that Asher Roth vibe. All right, I'm gonna go make a whiskey sour while we.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is
I respect the RL Grime, RL Stein joke in some
I've
capacity.
decided I'm gonna try all 3 flavors of Twinkie.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I tried 2. The banana's worse than I thought. Banana Runts. Wow, great flavor.
Banana Runts are one of the best runts.
Banana Laffy Taffies, yummy.
We haven't talked about Bar Rescue yet. I'll be back.
This might be longer than I thought.
Oh my god. This one's not getting split into 2 parts. I'm not doing that this time.
No, very understandable. There have been so many. There's an annual RL Grime Halloween mix every year. I could give you my power ranking of how I feel about the 10 mixes, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spare the listeners that. I will just say, let me just remind myself. I want to get the year right just to say what my favorite one is, so I can point people in the direction. But let's move on to the next song.
Yes. Our next song is from Excision and Space Laces, Throwin' Elbows. So let's hear a little bit of that real quick.
This is a later song, I believe. I forget what year this is, but this is a song I did know and kind of like. Whispers.
I weirdly did not know this song, even though I knew prominently Canadian producer Excision, of course, and mostly through his affiliation with prominently Canadian Sex Pest Datsik, who is not on this playlist for good reason.
Yes. Space Laces?
Yeah. I don't know how I knew Excision, but didn't know this song, which I'm going to say is also one of my favorites. I think I may be a rhythm gal.
I am seeing that you absolutely are a rhythm gal, and I'm also seeing that my butt rock bait worked on this one.
Oh, it's not even butt rock bait. Like, the thing about this song is that it has the audacity to just wholesale lift like a Steph Carpenter Deftones riff, which is just automatic lily bait, I suppose. Like, the fact that this dares to rip off the elite riff from White Pony, I'm like, yeah, I'll get whatever else you do in this song, even if you're using the same synth patch that was in Sellout, like, I'll give it to you.
Original's the best flavor
like
of Twinkie.
The drop of this so much more than Sellout. I don't know what it says about me that I think that those are dramatically different, but I like this one a lot more. The particular style of like rhythmy aggro synth design on this reminds me of just like, I don't know, I imagine someone shooting a laser gun every time, like pew pew pew.
Oh my god, it does totally sound like when you die in laser tag.
It makes me happy. I don't know. This is a very silly song, and I think it's funny, and it is very fun. And this is like just me trying to show like how dubstep and heavy bass culture is what allowed me to eventually get around to like hardcore and metal and learn what hardcore guys be like. Like, this was basically the reverse engineered way that I worked my way over to that kind of heavy extremist sort of styles of music.
Yeah, you and I just like completely crossfaded on that front. I went from
so
like
funny.
Metal gal to dubstep gal,
and that's
and
why
you did the
like
complete
rhythm, is because even with the rhythm
Yeah.
songs I like I'm reliving some of the worst memories of my entire life when I hear them, and so like it's just always
and I
gonna
never got
be weird
exposed
for
to
me.
this. Whereas like this type of music is just like perpetual breakdowns to me, which I like. Again, I'm a person who listens to like Meshuggah recreationally. So
Yes.
like no wonder that a song like that is just, you know, gonna like completely own my ears, even if I'm like, yeah, this is probably objectively trash, but I mean, there's power chords. Come on.
Yeah, I like this one the same way that I like 2008 Metallica. You know, like I feel the same. Like it gives me the same vibe, but I like it.
The
It's
waveform
fun.
looks the same too. We should note.
Yeah, like this is like the all nightmare line.
Why are we looking at Indieheads right now?
Because Maddie always does this during every podcast record because he doesn't give a rat's ass about us.
I'm impressed with how Indieheads users. You would be terrified to learn how quickly Maddie does all this. Like we're watching a veteran moderator's pace.
Yeah, there's nothing.
The
Anyway,
original Twinkies are really good, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that. It's like, why would you mess with a classic? You know,
It was so moist.
I will say that.
Don't even. Oh my god, I'm kicking you for the fucking goal. God damn it. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's move on to the next song.
Move on. Next song. What's the next song, Jackie?
The next song on our playlist is another Skrillex joint. This is Cinema featuring Gary Go, Skrillex remix by Benassi.
Now, this is a point where I really have to talk about a crucial piece of Lily lore, which is like, my only ever DJing experience came in the form of doing half-hour sets at, like, the bi-semesterly school dances.
Yes.
I think we did 3, maybe 4 a year. At some of which I learned the hard way that other people are not into the same music you are, because I think the rule was we could do a half hour, which amounted to about 6 songs, and one of them had to be a slow song. You had to do a slow song every, like, twice an hour, essentially, was the ratio. The first one of those I chose was Pyramid Song by Radiohead.
Fuck yeah.
And that's when I learned that, like, other 14-year-olds are not into Radiohead. Which was a very difficult L for me to take in front of literally the entire school. But this sets up the fact that a lot of my exposure to this kind of music came from the quote-unquote AV club at the school, which is basically the kids who did the dances, which only existed because the guy in charge of it, his mom was like the religion counselor at the school and muscled the principal into like letting this little like DJ enclave exist. And so we had weird like suburban privileged kid shit. Like we had a guy from like the local music store come and like teach us how to beat match and whatnot. And so yeah, it was kind of cool in that I did learn like a little bit about DJing through it. It is also, in retrospect, phenomenally bizarre, but that was like a thing I did for 2 or 3 years. Like pretty much all of high school was fucking DJ these school dances. And there's another song on here we'll talk about, but that and this were like the sound check songs. So when I hear the bass drop to this Cinema remix, like, also, like that, it was how you knew the sound system that we'd rented for the school dance was working, is that you could like hear that from the principal's office. You're like, oh, nice. They got it running. There's the Cinema drop. And the song just viscerally brings me back to that.
Hold up. I just got a notification from Tinder. Maddie, Vibes is live. If you don't know, now you know.
Thank you, Tinder.
Thank you, Tinder.
Should I share with the group my naming conundrum today?
Oh my god, I feel like you have to. Yeah, you got it.
I was talking to Maddie before the episode about how I was talking to someone named.
Wait for the song to be over.
Talking to someone named Milky.
And that's Milky, that's Milkie.
Wait, what's the context here, Max? Were you talking to a she they named Milky?
No.
Is this the story?
No. I posted on our Discord yesterday that I was a bisexual magnet, and in the time frame of this podcast, I've matched with 2 more bisexuals.
Let's go.
So,
hell yeah.
Let's
go.
Yeah. But
what do we have to say about Skrillex, Benassi remix?
It's basically nothing. It's a serviceable Skrillex remix. I think his remix of that I Square song, Hey Sexy Lady, is like a way better version of this same shtick.
This is one of 3 songs that I've known before this playlist. And Maddie, I'm sure you're with me on this. This was in WWE commercials for like half a year.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, because you mentioned that, and I was like, it definitely, unlocked a memory that I kept, kept in there. Not
Yeah.
really out of
And
like not like
WWE is so behind on the times at every single moment in history. So if they were playing this, this song was washed. At some
you're
point,
you're absolutely right.
me.
Like this is both the moment that Skrillex has just completely like taken over just fucking everywhere, but it's also Benny Benassi, who is this Italian DJ who is like one of the big figures credited with basically taking European electro house and turning it into mainstream American EDM. I thought you were maybe gonna say relate this to a Benny Benassi story, because I remember, and I'm forgetting the name of the fucking song. I'm gonna pull it up, but it was.
Are you talking about me?
No, Lily.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking of like, speaking of the MySpace era, like Push Me and Then Just Touch Me, like Satisfaction. That's the name of the song.
Satisfaction, one of the big things that broke RL Grime out was a trap remix of Satisfaction, of course.
Of fucking course it was. That's so funny.
So
I should also just say, as an aside, between this song and fucking On My Teeth by Underoath, I maybe need to be on the next WWE theme playlist, because that Venn diagram seems to overlap a lot more than I thought it did.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. We'll probably do it sometime in May. I did put together a playlist for an upcoming episode.
Man.
Matt's MVs. That's Matt's music videos, and that's Z's instead of S's, of course. WWE tribute video soundtrack. With 10 songs that I used as that I used in my WWE tribute videos.
Who were you tributing? Like Randy Orton?
I think I had a Randy Orton at one point, like Jeff Hardy, Candice Michelle.
What were you tributing? What were you tributing?
Yeah.
Just them?
I was just testing out my video editing skills and just doing tributes to the wrestlers that I liked. Just playing clips and singing to the music.
There's an alternate universe where Lily was into WWE, and it's one of the scariest things I can think of now.
You know what that is? That's the timeline where I am not also like terrorized by my neighbor friend who was super into WWE. That's why I'm into Formula One now.
I was just about
those are two sides of the same coin.
Last week, Formula One is European WWE.
It fully is. It's European WWE and European Drag Race at the same time.
So true.
I was going to say that I the reason I was confused there is that I mixed up the Bloody Beetroots with Benny Benassi. I was thinking of Warp 1.9 featuring Steve Aoki, which was a classic of middle school dances. That was like the rave song that would get played like at like non the EDM context.
Yeah.
And I had a Bloody Beetroot song that fucking killed at a school dance one time, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. I don't think it's the one you mentioned, but I will like have to find this.
Gotcha. But yeah, those two guys, like that style of synth music gets basically worked into. And I also wanted to include the Cinema remix because that's a classic example of something that we cut off with the Level Skrillex remixes. Like, let's do a hook in the middle of the dubstep verses that everyone can sing along to. There's a lot of the LaRue In For The Kill Skrillex remix is the really good version of this, but I didn't. I honestly should have included that on this playlist. Whatever, that would have been more enjoyable to listen to. But
the In For The Kill or Hey Sexy Lady remixes would have been better, but
this song is fine. The drop is like the most boring Skrillex gets for me in terms of sound design. It's him the most on autopilot that you get, but it's also not bad. It's not grating in the way some of these other ones are.
That's true. It is the point in which he really starts like copy pasting his drops and kind of gets away with it on the grounds of just like, I think what that
just a little bit.
Who Do the Shit With I Do soundbite in the RL Grime song, like the drop the bass soundbite in this song was kind of like that for everybody who didn't live in LA.
Yes, totally. What's it called? I also really like there's a RL Grime edit of that song where he plays the whole Trick Daddy song, and it's really great. But that would probably have been better than the original, but then it would have to be a remix instead of an original song. Anyway, let's listen to the next song, which I also kind of regretted putting on this playlist just because I'm doing one of my guys dirty by this. But let's just listen to Uppers by Mr. Carmack and Stooki.
We can get through this in like 2 minutes.
This is a very boring song, I will admit.
This is just Mosh Pit without the vocal track.
Yes.
Like I genuinely confuse the two every time I listen to this playlist, which I will invoke for the listener was 10 times.
Yeah, this is just like a really good example of the kind of trap based music that was blowing up around RL Grime, and this sort of stuff that I wanted to include something that was vaguely dubstep adjacent in the sound design, but what I ended up doing is just picking the most boring Mr. Carmack song that exists, and I feel really bad because Mr. Carmack is genuinely a more talented artist than this song would suggest, and I also like Stooki Sound a lot. I saw Stooki Sound live DJing once; he was really great. So like I do like both of these artists, but I like put this song on the playlist thinking this was one of the ones I really liked, and then remembered, oh yeah, maybe I don't like this song. And then I had to go back to other Mr. Carmack songs and remind myself that he just had better songs that I could have included here instead. But for whatever reason, I've done this one and it's really boring. We shouldn't talk about it for very long.
So Jackie,
yeah, there's really not much
on
to
the
say.
continuum of like headbangers to like hand wavers. Is this more of like a hand waver song?
What a metric.
This is more of a hand waver song, but like you could headbang to it. Like headbanging is, I mean, headbanging obviously exists in fucking metal music. They were the ones that invented it, but for whatever reason, dubstep fans like have this perverse like they want to headbang like way harder than metal people do. They want to like break their neck, like literally, like throwing their whole body forward as hard as they possibly can, and it's very confusing to me every time I've been to a dubstep show. But this is like a version of that
kids,
for trap music. Like
I know what hardcore kids be like, and they generally have like a weird code of ethics to their moshing, which like dubstep kids did not appear to have.
Yeah, there
wasn't
like really
no consideration for
the thing
personal
is that
space
dubstep
or safety.
Doesn't really have as much moshing as like the mainstream EDM and like even trap events. Like the trap, there's a lot more shoving and pushing, whereas a lot of the time at the dubstep shows, you just find people zonked out going like head forth, back and forth, like this is my shit, and like all just kind of vibing out on their own frequency. If you ever find yourself in one of those places, oh god, I feel bad about what we have to do next, so we should just
Can we listen to the song in full?
Oh, hey,
we just listen to the whole thing.
I just want to say that first of all, the clip is the whole thing, so there's no option there.
Oh my god! Please don't do that.
Oh my god!
We don't have to listen to the whole thing. We can cut it off at a certain point.
We're going.
Here's the thing.
Gavin, I'm virtually holding hands with you right now.
I just want to say before we move on from Mr. Carmack that I recommend that people go check out some of his other stuff. He was on a LA-based label/event series called Selection, which was basically like the K-Tronada side of the kind of beat scene world that was more like R&B and hip-hop forward, and that whole kind of scene, which was also very influential to me. And Mr. Carmack has a lot of bangers out there. You go listen to Bang Volume 3 from 2014. That's a good project. He's got a really good Diplo and Friends mix with Jemba Jemba that I listened to the other day for the first time and was taken back in a time portal. But without any further ado, we need to listen to...
Nope, here's the thing. Before we do anything, I want you all to meet my son. This is my son, Tony.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hello, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
This is my son, Tony. He's a remote-controlled Tony Hawk. I've had him since I was a kid, and I just brought him to Oklahoma.
Amazing.
Welcome to Oklahoma, Tony.
Welcome to Oklahoma,
I have
Tony.
a plush Tony Hawk
skateboard
that I got from Taylor's brother.
Hell yeah.
That was just to raise your spirits before we listen to one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life.
Speaking of which, Maddie and Gavin, where did you end up watching the Tony Hawk documentary? Because you both logged that on Letterboxd, and I don't want to watch it.
It's on HBO Max.
I have not.
It's on.
It's in my. It's on HBO Max. I have not seen it.
Okay, it'll probably be on Canada.
It's in my watch list.
It'll be on Crave in Canada eventually.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. You know, you know where to look.
But the reason why we're talking about this next song is, of course, in the intro, you heard a Flex Caliber declaring beef with Adam Levine because Adam Levine would dare suggest that he is barely alive, even though that is a sentence that has meaning outside of the context of the musician barely alive. But in Flex Caliber's bass-centric universe,
hell, around here, we're more into Barely March than Barely Alive,
brother.
Or so I've heard.
I went to Barely Alive's. I went to Barely Alive's page because I was like, let me find a Barely Alive song, because I didn't have one that like came to mind immediately. This was not a guy I ever really liked. I've heard some of his songs before that we're not talking about, but I immediately saw that one of his most streamed songs, one of his most recent songs, a song from a year that we will not reveal to the listener because it'll be funny, But
no. Listener, like before you hear this song, like as you're listening to it, guess what year it was made. Max and I both had the same guess. We were both wrong, and it was the most upsetting revelation of this entire process.
Okay,
there are a couple hints.
Okay, we're building up to
the
it.
song we're listening to is unfortunately called Meme Graveyard. Maddie hit play on it.
Terrible.
God, imagine playing this song while you get some freaking Szechuan sauce from Mickey D's.
I haven't relayed my teenage DJing stories yet, but I never played anything this embarrassing, I swear to fucking God. Like, my most embarrassing fall of my face DJing moments are not as bad as this.
Yeah, the guy who ran the AV club outdid me on that front a lot just by playing like a consistent amount of hardstyle.
Hell yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Hardstyle. I hate that genre, but cool people, I guess. I don't know. Shuffling is kind of cool.
I don't really think so. That's another playlist.
Oh, God. I couldn't do a hardstyle playlist. I don't think any of our other hosts could either.
I have sufficient enough brainworms to be able to survive this playlist. I could not do 10 hardstyle songs.
Burger King playlist is pretty funny, though. I like that one's funny. That's still funny to me.
Thanks to all of us for talking over most of that. We did our best to neutralize it.
Yeah. What's annoying is I think the drop in this is actually like kind of solid. Did it not have all the meme samples in it?
Okay.
This is of such a certain era.
Yeah, it is, and yet it isn't, based on the year it was made.
It's of a certain era, but not the era it was released in.
Exactly.
Listeners, take your chance now.
Put on a scheduled tweet.
You've heard most of these memes now. I don't even know that one. I don't know. Anyway, this ends very soon. The song ends very soon. The song is 2 minutes
to determine that this song has a sample of World's Funniest Cry. There it is.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins was released on my birthday. When I was a kid, I thought that was cool.
I hated how much of these I recognized.
Yeah, I did too.
This song. So, listener at home, take your time now. Write down on your Jeopardy board, what year do you think this song that you just heard was released in? Take a guess, any guess, and if your guess, drumroll please, was 2020, you are correct. That was released in 20.
Disgusting.
This is released.
Disgusting.
This is released the same year as COVID-19, and it's tough to say.
It released in January, so it is potentially...
It might have caused the coronavirus. Like, who's to say?
Yeah.
Okay. If it was released in January, that is, to be fair, 2020 minus 5 years.
Yes,
so that
true.
tracks, actually.
Yeah. If you told me this song was immediately uploaded to YouTube by H3 Productions or whatever, I would believe it. Like, just, this is such like a 2016 ass, like, montage parody style ass song. Like,
it's so bad.
I hate it every second.
I was 100% convinced, and so was Max, that this came out in 2017 solely on the grounds of Pickle Rick, which, like, you would think this song was made within the 24 hours after the fucking Pickle Rick episode aired, because any time after that is too late.
But people still have those Pickle Rick tattoos.
Normies is the word that you have to key in on, I think.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think normies became big.
Memes have been ruined by normies. That's the whole concept of this song.
I'm upset this is the artist we found Flex like sticking up for.
Yes. It's really unfortunate.
Because we love Flex.
Yeah,
but it's unfortunate that person's yeah.
Even if it's a joke, it's just one of the most tasteless things of...
It also gives you an idea of what kind of dubstep taste Flex has, which is like the most cranked up sound design for the drops. Like even more so, like literally, there are some people that just like started copy pasting the ideas, and then there's some people that are just like, okay, let me do exactly what Skrillex did, but dial all the knobs up like 3 from the already very high intensity level that they were at. And This song is very unpleasant to me, and I found it especially upsetting when I noticed that there was the Adam Vine sample. Like, not to get like too serious or preachy about this, but like when Adam was alive and their Vine fame was at the peak of it, I saw firsthand how weird it made them feel that like all of a sudden like people come up to you on the street and you are this 3-second internet clip to them, and they treat you like a product. And so to see someone literally just like throwing that, which was the two of them in their apartment, just like those two were like the two of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life, and they were twin brothers, and they just were like that all of the time, and they capitalized on it, and it helped propel them to do stuff that they wanted to do. But like they immediately were like, this is fucking weird and creepy, and it's just a reminder that like the people on your internet are not people that live inside your little phone. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, worth saying, I think.
Yeah, maybe inappropriate to have that in a song called Meme Graveyard.
It was before Adam's death, but yeah.
Oh, well,
still
yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. It just adds to your point. Like, I don't know. It's bad, weird, like
what was the point of any of this?
Not to act like this song has any commentary in it, but like memes have always just kind of gone away. Like, oh, this is such a shitty conversation. I regret even making this point. It's not like I didn't
From you,
that.
No, I know what you were gonna say, and you know what? We don't even need to say it. We can just move on.
Yeah, like just like what are you crying about, dude? Like go like oh no, the Ugandan Knuckles thing is over. Oh, I love that so much.
And now it's not funny because too many people have said it's like,
yeah. Where have you been, dude?
Where have you been? That's the thing. More than like the dating of the specific references, it's the attitude towards memes as a concept that feels the most dated. Like that's what feels like 2013 as hell about this whole fucking thing. And then you hear Pickle Rick and you're like, okay, it can't be earlier than 2017.
Yeah.
And then it was actually even fucking later than that.
The Leroy Jenkins thing, like Leroy Jenkins was probably unfunny by the time this guy found Leroy Jenkins, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Even before then, like that's the wild thing about this song is that it doesn't even feel 2013. It feels like 2009. Like this was the type of humor that was going around when like this type of music first broke out and I first found out about it.
Oh, I just figured out how to say it. It's iFunny humor. That's what it is.
I was gonna say that.
Yes,
that's right.
Absolutely.
I was gonna.
Sorry, Max. I didn't mean to jump your gun.
I'm
sorry.
Do not go too crazy white boy mode, Max. You gotta calm down. There's a level of crazy ass white boy we have to maintain. If we go over a certain level,
we saw Max's brony convention like 20 minutes into this podcast episode. What the fuck are you talking about?
I felt like I couldn't talk about dubs as soon as we started talking about it. I was like, before I say anything else on this podcast, I just have to come clean immediately.
Yeah, it's smart. Okay, we have two more. Well, we have two more songs. One of these was added at the very last minute, but what is our next song, Jackie?
Our next song is our last and second Flux Pavilion song of the night. This is his most famous song. This is I Can't Stop.
This was the other one that was like sound checking the school dance PA speakers, and I think that's why it's my least favorite song on the playlist. Is because I hear this every fucking time we had to make sure the bass levels were right.
Yeah, Flux Pavilion. This band has probably made so much money off of sync placements for this song.
Yes,
to this day.
What has this song even been synced in though? Because it's so dated that like, yeah, actually you should.
He has made so much money off of demonetizing Call of Duty commentary videos with this as the intro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this and Bangarang are like the two worlds inside of you for like dubstep culture. Like, I think we were talking about it pre-stream, but they're like two of the biggest songs. But they're very different in flavor, I guess.
Yes, this is like Skrillex is much more the like appealing to the kinds of people that were just into 303 and like scene music.
He's dancing around the beat a little bit.
Whereas this is distinctly Call of Duty. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Skrillex is playing with your sensibilities while Flux Pavilion's hitting you on the head with a hammer. With the bass.
and like I put these songs on here remembering Flux as being like not as hacky as some of the other dubstep people, which sounds crazy to fucking think about because this is not like a very like, it's not an amazingly put together song, but at least it like does have a little bit of melodic progression. Like it's not playing the same exact notes the whole time, and like basically what makes dubstep an insufferable genre is that everyone then copies this guy who didn't even have that good of an original idea and then like makes it worse. This song, yeah, it's just fucking enormous. Like it is part of how dubstep escaped just being a like underground rave genre, and it became this just like, it kicked off the commercialization of dance music we saw in the 2010s that just kind of culminated with the EDM bubble bursting. It hasn't really burst. Like they're still all making fuck tons of money. But there was like a brief period of time where just like if you moved to LA with a laptop, you could be one of these guys in 6 months. And the freedom and like the accessibility that new music technology creates is just always going to be a double-edged sword, where it being easier to make music means you're going to have people with ideas who previously didn't have the resources to make music getting those ideas out into the world, and then you're also going to have people that can then make music lazier than ever before in human history and do dumb shit like that, like you've seen tonight.
Yeah. This is a good hook repeated so much that it stops being a good hook.
This is one of the ultimate examples of a thing we've seen a lot on this playlist, which is like making a song that's a minute long and then looping it 4 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that I've learned through this experiment is that more dubstep artists should be inspired by Guided by Voices. And that you should just do 100 songs and they should all be a minute long and they should all have the best hook that you can write.
Yeah.
Because this has a really good hook, a really cool drop and melody, but it's repeated so much that like halfway through you don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I'm trying to imagine Robert Pollard on a dubstep song right now. I feel like it's just like a paradox. I feel like it can't exist.
I don't know if I feel like that kind of tracks. Yeah. It is the thing of, like the length of so many of these songs were determined by like the guy deciding the song needed to end on an even number in Ableton.
Yeah.
I mean, this, like, I think you're exactly right, Gavin, because like the Moody Good album that I was talking about from 2017 and like most of the mixes that I liked in this style, you wouldn't play the drop all of the times. Like you play it the first time for the immediate like shock impact, and then you transition into another song, or like you throw in like R.L. Grime, one of the things that he helped popularize along with Diplo, but like is throwing in edits of pop music in where like he would take a really popular one of these EDM bangers and just like put a good pop song over it so that people would have something to like grab onto in the sets. And like that's really rapid.
That's cool and interesting.
The really rapid like mixing style of that is like what makes it tolerable, because if you have to listen to the same thing just dragged on for 5 minutes, like it becomes really brutal. I just want to note that the Flux Pavilion UKF dubstep upload has 116 million views. This is not a not a YouTube video. This is just a blue speaker with fire around it that's like very, very lazily animated.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry to bring this point up again, but that just reminds me of like the Grateful Dead throwing in Johnny Be Good like 30 minutes into a jam or something like that. That's interesting to me. And I guess the sort of electronic direct sampling nature leads it to where, you know, Grateful Dead, whatever, they can upload whatever live show they've done because they can slap their name and say, oh, we did the cover. But, you know, all these DJs can't say, oh, we did a cover. They just, you know, they threw the song in with the same chords and BPM in the middle of a DJ set. So they can't, you know, due to whatever bullshit copyright laws this country has, you know, they can't just upload live sets.
And then they started doing remixes for all these artists because they started getting, like, the labels were like, oh yeah, we want you to do a remix of The Hills by The Weeknd, which is one of R.L. Grime's big, like, post blow up hits.
Yeah, I guess it's unfair for me to judge these songs based on the actual direct, because no one would
The
ever
song
do
was
that.
5 minutes long.
Although I will tell you, there are people that only go to dubstep shows and then in their free time, like this is what they listen to, like on a day-to-day basis, because they've become.
Well, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's insane.
It is.
That's
It is, but those people do exist. I can vouch for that.
Those are the
and
people
it's
that I was telling
terrifying.
you about, that after an entire day of this music in their car on the way out are cranking it up as loud as they go and listening to more of this shit. Like truly, like
I love that. Shouts if you're one of those
the
people.
thing
I
is
love
that
you.
the three people in the backseat of that car are all on Molly, and they are all demanding that it be turned up higher. Like that is the important thing to remember.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I will also say, and this is maybe a sweaty transition, but like on the note of slapdash remixes, I forgot to mention at the top of the episode, and we can use this as a bookend before our final song, but on the Bangarang EP, there is also somewhat famously, at least in my mind, Break in a Sweat, which is Skrillex's collaboration with The Doors, which is the first quote-unquote original Doors song in like 35 years or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if any of the rest of you, or at the very least Jackie, got exposed to this. I remember watching this back in the day. That song was sort of forced into existence by this documentary by the Hyundai Creators Project, which is also responsible for the very infamous Daft Punk Get Lucky videos before the release of Random Access Memories. And the premise of the Regeneration Project is that 4 electronic musicians collaborate with 4 other non-electronic musicians for like a mashup genre hybrid thing. Before we get into this next song, I am just going to leave you to ponder what the other 3 of those collaborations could be, one being Skrillex and The Doors. And then once we're done talking about this last song, I'm going to tell you what those collaborations were.
Oh, there's no way I can guess those things.
Yeah, no, I just want you to think about what it could be, and then I'll read it to you because you're wrong.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh boy. Okay.
Hey, Maddie, while we're talking about The Doors, do you mind playing the video I just sent you?
Here we go.
Oh my god.
There you go, Bobby.
This is Robbie Krieger playing the national anthem at a hockey game.
I made this joke when it came out, but it sounds like the Bikini Bottom music from SpongeBob.
This is some SpongeBob shit.
Oh, it does.
Bikini Bottom. I saw this video recently, but have any of you seen the video of the NBA players reacting to when the New Zealand basketball team does the haka?
Of course.
For them?
I thought you were talking about the video of the basketball players reacting to Fergie's national anthem.
Oh, no.
That's also good.
No, it's like...
Comparing this to the Flea one,
God, incredible.
Flea just played the national anthem at a Lakers game not too long ago, and it was actually sick. But comparing it to that is really funny. Let's listen to our last song of the evening, which is a song I almost left out. And now I'm like, what am I kidding? We need to listen to Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites.
We gotta end where it began. You just gotta.
Truly.
And I was wrong. So I said in the Pleeps or Plonks channel of our Discord the other day that I
want to know those other collabs. Sorry to interrupt.
He was the one time that Sonny Moore used his very unproblematic language vocals in a Skrillex song. Yes. I forgot he also started with it. And I'm not sure how obvious this was to everyone else, but like these chopped up vocals right here are Sonny Moore's actual vocals.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then of course the sample that ties it all together.
Yeah.
Does everyone know what that is, or am I gonna tell anyone?
I think I knew that at one point, but I don't remember anymore.
It's the cup stacking video. So it's someone who breaks the record of cup stacking and says, "Yes, oh my god."
Great video.
Yeah, a much better video than the video for this song. Which
and
is
it
just
feels
the
less
annoying
than Meme Graveyard, where like the point is not that it is a meme. The point is it's like, oh, it's funny for someone to say yes, oh my god, before the bass drops. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a functional like vocal thing.
Yes.
And I think, it does get by on the fact that this was one of the first songs to kind of like do one of those in this sphere before it became like an obligatory thing of like, you must sample a YouTube video before your drop.
There's so many shitty songs that, wanna be this, that sample the mom get the camera kill shot thing, This song's, this is like the third song in this playlist that I'm familiar with, and I can't divorce the nostalgic attachment.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now.
I will say, partly because it was not available on streaming, but like I could have been meaner. There's a song that I know that is an entire dubstep song centered around like an entire dialogue scene from Rick and Morty. Like
Oh my god!
Pull it up. We're here. When are we gonna get the opportunity again?
I suppose so.
Weird.
All right, I knew this would happen. Just kidding.
Okay. You heard the song. You know what the song is. What the fuck?
Everyone.
Let's go out on. This is by I forget. I don't know how to say this guy's name. It's !DE and Midnight Tyrannosaurus. Midnight T, as he's often referred to. This is a guy that I wasn't really as familiar with until I got to Michigan. Midnight T is one of those dubstep guys that was big in like those Ohio-ass dubstep festivals.
Ohio-ass dubstep festivals. What a sentence.
Yeah, this is...
The SoundCloud comments automatically scrubbing across this along the waveform are far worse than the song itself.
This has 4 million plays on SoundCloud.
Someone said shit is stupid. I love that.
I'm gonna rip your guts out and smear them all over your face.
Oh god.
Okay, that's
it.
That's all you need to hear.
They're saying the comment like we do to songs we like, just like, I'm gonna smear my guts out, rip them all over your face. Like, this is hard as shit. I appreciate that.
Here's the thing, though. Is if Jordy Greep said, I'm gonna take my guts out and smear them over your fucking face, me and Maddie would be like, best new music.
Okay, yeah.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
It's crazy how if you put a phrase into a different context, it's a lot better.
Or if you, more importantly, if you put it into Jordy Greep's mouth.
That's true.
That's also very true. Okay, are we ready to hear the other collaborations as part of the RE Collaboration project?
Let's do it.
I'm just going to read most of this press release. So first of all, we all know this. Skrillex teams up with Ray Manzarek and Bobby Krieger along the Venice Boardwalk in Los Angeles, and then later collaborates on Breaking a Sweat with John Densmore, the first original Doors recording since 1978. Next up, actually, no, hold on. I have to figure out how to order these in the way that is funniest. I think actually the press release order is funniest. Okay. Denver-based Pretty Lights, there's a whole other type of guy, travels to Nashville visiting the Country Music Hall of Fame and going into the studio with the legendary Dr. Ralph Stanley and Leanne Rimes.
God.
Oh my god.
I had forgotten about Pretty Lights until you said that, and memories rushing back into my head. Wow.
Okay, next one. Martha Reeves of the Vandellas. Martha Reeves of the Vandellas and the Funk Brothers get a visit in Detroit from breakbeat pioneers The Crystal Method.
What
for an R&B horn, sassy and down bass, I'm Not Leaving.
That might be fun.
And finally, DJ Premier heads down the Paul Revere Trail from Boston, where he conducted the Berkeley Symphony Orchestra, to his New York City studio to capture lyrics by Nos.
Oh my god.
This is an 80-minute documentary film sponsored by a car company.
Nice.
Oh my god. The second you said Boston, I was so worried we were going to get dubstep Dropkick Murphys.
Honestly, probably would have been better.
It probably exists, too.
I don't know. I bet. Maddie?
What's up?
YouTube it.
Oh, the music?
Dubstep Dropkick Murphys. Let's do it. Look it up.
I am currently. I have pulled up a Ultimate Classic Rock news article about Breaking a Sweat from 2011.
Yeah. We got some remixes here.
And I want to read this last little bit of it.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah!
Maniac! Maniac! I'm shipping up to Boston. Jesse Bosch remix.
Oh my god, I'm loving up to Boston more like.
Okay, so far it's literally just a song, but
Oh yeah, but you know we're building up to something.
I could literally feel this in my veins.
Okay.
Why mess with perfection, I guess?
Hey, it's got going to something.
I mean, if we've learned anything, dubstep is a genre predicated on messing up perfection.
Yes.
Nothing has been
Yeah.
touched so
Not
far.
yet.
So this is about a beat drop.
man.
So
I'm so Stockholm syndrome that this doesn't sound bad to me, but I know it's bad.
I'm so Stockholm syndrome that this doesn't sound bad to me is how Jackie and I felt doing this episode, to be clear.
we
no.
heard a little something. There's a little hint of
vocals.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
Nope.
vocals yet?
Alright.
Oh. Oh hell yeah! Here we go.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Imagine someone playing this in a
I
club.
can.
Unfortunately, I also can.
The drunkest white boy you've ever met
Here it
going
is.
off.
I knew it'd be this kind of drop. I knew it.
This is the last song you hear before John Taffer tells you to shut that bar down.
Yeah, we would go to the John Tapper at all, really.
I don't know if we will. This feels like a good note to play ourselves out on.
I mean, yeah, we don't have much more to say. I
Oh,
could tell
God.
embarrassing stories of me as a teenage DJ, but you know what? And it pains me to, Maddie, can you turn it off one second? It pains me to admit this, but you know the movie Booksmart, the not very good movie Booksmart, that was in part a breakout role for Skylar Gisondo. I am the trans feminine version of that character. That was unfortunately me being seen. And I hated it, and I was like, I don't want to be seen anymore. Yeah, that's basically what it was like wanting to be a DJ in Los Angeles. I just took you down a journey, and now you understand why I like it when black dresses make the songs redlined to shit, because I've ruined my hearing.
Yep. Exactly
Anyways.
the same. I mean,
Thank
I was
you,
the
thank
Skylar
you.
Gisondo character without
Yes.
people around to like understand what I was aiming for.
Exactly. I am just a doofus who took you on this journey. And if you're listening to this and you didn't know what you were getting into, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is a kind of a real culture shock for anyone that isn't already desensitized to it. And I would like to thank my trusty co-host.
I love this journey. This
It was fun.
crazy.
I hope you had fun listening to this. There were a lot of kinds of guy we needed to talk about. There were a lot of cultural connections that we made. I think it was a good exercise overall.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, let's see. What do we have on the schedule for next week? I'm actually curious. I forgot what we put on the schedule. Well, of course, we have a bonus episode coming out later on. I think probably this goes out on Sunday.
Oh,
for the Patreon.
fuck. What a
So-
run I'm in for. I had not consulted the
Lincoln Bill is-
spreadsheet until
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, Lincoln Bill 2 is gonna be coming out later this week as a bonus episode. So hey, real ones, $5 a month to get that episode. Then after that, we have Youth Group Songs, another Dave Grohl playlist. I think from Josiah Duncan, our patron, or Dave Grohl's partner.
Yes.
No,
Cuts
it might be
out.
no, it's not him.
Got
I
me.
think Josiah has not sent one in yet. I want to say it is. Hold up, let me pull it up because the name's gonna pop up in just a second. Is it a Taxon? It might be
I
a
think
Taxon.
it might be a Taxon. It might be a Taxon or Alec, maybe. There are
Yeah,
a couple
hang
people
on.
who are in on this.
Hang on, let me just search.
We've gotten
I
some
just
fucking
typed in
heaters
Flyleaf
in the Dave
on
Grohl.
on the Discord.
Oh, that's correct. You're gonna find me caping for that
yeah,
band.
Taxon. So Taxon
Yeah,
is in a
it was.
Youth Group
Okay,
Songs
okay.
playlist.
Yeah.
Shout out the Board Lord Acid House edit of the Flyleaf song that I now
Oh,
am
dude,
going to
that's so sick.
play all the time. It's so fucking sick.
I'll plug an outro with it. Well, actually, I'll save that for the episode.
Yeah, I sent you a possible outro
But we've got a couple of
consider.
great. We've got Youth Group Songs. We have Roses. They Might Be Giants. Dave Grohl playlist coming up.
Which is called Dave
Grant,
Might Be Giants.
Dave Might Be Grohl. We've got Grant. What is the playlist that Grant has for us? What's the theme, Gavin?
It's a one-hit wonders who try to recapture lightning in a bottle with rewriting the same song again. It's the reception amongst, if you're not in the Dave Grohl tier, consider it. because that chat, when people post a playlist, it's electric. And when Grant posted it's the same fucking song again playlist, it was
That's gonna be
like
a
lightning
great
in a
fucking
bottle.
episode.
Big
It's
difference
gonna be
between
on-
one
that's
and
gonna be
the
a
other.
Have
nice
you
classic.
ever wondered what Bobby Boris Pickett's other songs sound like? Here's a hint.
Yeah.
They sound a lot like the Monster Mash.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. But I mean, I'm so proud of what the people who like this podcast have come up with, because all of these playlists have made me LOL
We really hit
and
our
giggle.
stride as like finding like what people want from us, and even when we don't even realize what it is ourselves, and even when we have to torture ourselves to get there, like we really had a lot of fun getting silly over these last 2 years with y'all.
Yeah. The more cursed and niche the culture zone that you pitch to us is, the better the episode is going to be.
Truly.
Yeah, it's great. So we've gotten so many great playlists down the pipeline.
Yeah, then I also
wait.
mentioned my WWE tribute videos, and Gavin has a playlist coming up.
We also can't even talk about Max's playlist, which is going to be a 5 hour podcast.
We're gonna hold up that one.
Yeah, no, that one's
Gavin-
Gavin's be a two-parter. We'll see.
Well, we will reveal Gavin's playlist a little closer to when we record that
we're
episode.
teasing
but
those. You don't get to hear what Max's idea is. It's very important. Although, if you're in the Dave Grohl queue, you've seen us talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then Best New Pod sometime in May. We still got to figure out details on that one, but very excited to get going on that, and excited to keep going with these playlists. And again,
hey, Pitchfork have given more songs Best New Track than you probably think they have.
So many
and
more.
We had to cut a lot of shit. Like, there's gonna be people are gonna be mad at us, but it's like,
we're gonna have the cuts episodes, Maddie. That's the whole plan. Is we're gonna do bonus episodes like once per year.
Yeah.
Once per year, where basically we will allow our Discord members to vote on all of the songs that we've cut from each year.
Yes.
Besides, there are some songs that we're not talking about because of canceled people or other reasons, but we're gonna have a selection of fun other songs that we didn't get a chance to talk about, and you, the Patreon members, will get to pick the ones that we cut that we shouldn't have cut. And so I'm sure some of those were ones, like, just for the record, it was agonizing cutting this fucking playlist down, because you know me, I want to talk about like 80% of these songs, but we simply can't do that because it would take us so long just to get through the first couple years of the decade. And we're planning on doing all 10 years of Pitchfork Best New Track. We are going to journey through time, through our own musical histories. There's a whole bunch of songs Rose has never heard before, like 6 Foot, 7 Foot by Lil Wayne.
Oh my god!
Rose hearing 212 is going to single-handedly make this series worthwhile.
We're keeping her in a beautiful bubble now because we've realized that we have gold on our hands by the amount of early 2010s culture she doesn't know that we get to introduce her to live on podcasts. So
Rose is in one of the soundproof Jerry Springer booths for this series.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, give us it's $1 to get in the Discord. So if you have strong opinions on what Pitchfork was giving Best New Track, and you want us to consider a song you like, it's $12 a year.
Also, it's just fun. It's the best way to do wage theft on the internet is the Indieheads podcast Discord.
Absolutely.
I had my first real day of work today, and I spent it browsing Discord. I didn't say that if you're if you're
a member of the ETA.
If you're part of my job,
parody joke,
you didn't get this far. But
absolutely not.
The reason why I'm willing to be reckless right now is because we put a wall of 2 hours of dubstep and conversation about dubstep in between me and anyone who might be listening.
All right,
to this
who wants to
now.
rank those religions? Let's go.
All
right, let's fucking do it, baby. All right.
We're resurrecting the late nights.
We're gonna fade
monsters.
out. Of course, Gavin, we're gonna fade out on you talking these religions. So let's fucking do it.
Oh, dude, I didn't go to church growing up. I don't know anything, man.
All right.
I think I would growing up in Texas.
Number one religion.
Shouts out to Alec Felder. I'm going Judaism.
Hell yeah, baby.
I was gonna put a very different.
All right, we're ending. We're not actually end the podcast.
All right, but all right. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to give us 10 songs to listen to, support us on the Dave Grohl tier. $8 a month. gets you one ticket to give us a playlist of your choosing, 10 songs we will listen to and review on a future podcast episode. So give us more content to put out for this podcast, everybody.
We love it.
With that, that's it. Thank you, Jackie, for this for the worst playlist, or one of the worst playlists we've ever heard on this podcast.
Thank you.
That is everybody. We will see you all next week as we talk some youth group songs. Bye, everybody.